Yo, this video is Alessandra Ambrosio-Wilkins is committing adultery. And before I look at my story and pictures from last night and kind of what Alessandra has posted recently, I just wanted to go over what I think, and that's that Alessandra Ambrosio's children, Anja and Noah Ambrosio, I believe are my biological children. I believe Alessandra somehow acquired my semen and bred me without my consent twice. And it appears also that Aline Ambrosio, Alessandra's sister, has also done this. And it appears as though maybe even Fernanda Moda, who I've also brought up in these videos and who's a friend of Alessandra Ambrosio, has also done that. And so first I just want to like kind of look at in my phone. So story and pictures. I've gone over this before. We're at November 5th. You go back and there's stuff previously. But if we go into my favorites, I have a bunch of pictures that I've highlighted to like kind of make it obvious that yeah, I do believe these are my children. They look more like me than they do Jamie Mazur, who's the guy that is purported to be their father. Um, that is Anja and Noah Ambrosio, I believe, look more like me than Jamie Mazur. Um, as well, I believe Dylan and Liam Ambrosio as well. I believe that Chloe Moda, they all like look like me. Um, and that's not the only reason, but like in addition to all the kind of other stuff and the attention and kind of weird kind of communication that Alessandra, like plausibly deniable communication that these women are using to like communicate at me without, it's plausibly deniable, but they're clear, like that's their intention. It's communicating towards me, but it's like I can communicate if I'm trying to get a message to my neighbor, right? And like I'm doing something that they would recognize that I'm trying to communicate with them, but it can maybe be plausibly deniable that like no, I'm trying to just I'm just standing at my window like stretching. I'm not waving to my neighbor or something. You get what I mean? Like so, it's plausibly deniable that they're communicating with me or not communicating with me, but in reality, they're communicating at me using imagery and other things that are forms of communication that aren't seen as such currently, just because the law is kind of behind the times. So, like I do want to go over again. I believe Noah Ambrosio here looks a lot like me, and like so if you see like we got same similar nose, similar enough that where it looks like a mixture of my nose and Alessandra's nose. Similarly with Anja Ambrosio, I think we favor each other, to the degree that like, hey, I think we look a lot alike. It looks like she's like a mixture of me and Alessandra Ambrosio. Um, so similarly, you got Dylan and Liam Ambrosio, uh, and we go down here. I think, like you can see on the left side, Noah in the middle there, and Chloe on the right. And if you look here, I just feel like Chloe. Again, it's one of those things where it's like, well, she looks like me, but she also doesn't look like the person that is purported to be her father. I also would suggest she has my hair. Like if you look at her hair, it does look like my hair, and I even think, if we go up here a little bit, when I brought up, like this was the day after I brought up that I think Chloe Moda is, possibly my daughter here, or a couple days after, right, somewhere around here, um, and then basically I'm trying to get it, and then this is what Fernanda shared, where it's all orange, so I thought that was a message towards me. Um, but like subtly. Anyway, my point with this is I believe these women have done something pretty evil and reprehensible. I believe that breeding me without my consent is rape. Like, I think Alessandra Ambrosio raped me. And, like, if I can, like, laugh about it or cry about it, you know what I mean? Like, and so if there seems to be, like, I just generally have a smile on my face. I try to have a smile on my face. Don't take, like, the way I look in that situation. Like, it doesn't feel good. It's evil. It's wrong. Um, to have done that to me and then to like I believe that the point of breeding me without my consent is then there's a connection that like I would have to prove out, right? And so now she has my attention and then she can use my biological children, which like basically I have no connection to. She can raise them to be really mean to me and evil to me and hate me, which I think she has. I don't think Anja and Noah Ambrosia like me. I think they're really mean to me. I think that if I'm their dad and they know it and they treat me like this, I think she taught them that I was like evil or something. She lied to them or whatever she's done. And like obvious, it doesn't feel good to me. Like I feel like anybody looking at me in the past, like however long I've like at least 7 years, but you know for even longer than that, it's like I've been going through this super difficult situation that nobody should have to go through, and like even like I'm handling it better now, but like being judged on how I handled it, like it shouldn't even be that I had to handle it. Like this is wrong and it shouldn't be happening. So, you know, judging me by any of that is like it seems really wrong. And so I'm just kind of getting at that. Like I don't really have an opportunity to like connect or bond with my children, and I think that's the point. Is that like Alessandra appears to be holding my children hostage. Aline Ambrosio seems to be holding my children hostage. Like with fake men as their partners. Um, or men that are not actually their partners, but they're like using using that person, like pretending they're in a relationship with that person to like create an illusion of it is weird when I'm saying like I think these kids are mine, but it's like imagine the situation I'm in. If this has happened to me, and they are using my kids in this abusive fashion, and then putting fake men up as their fathers, and like I didn't. First of all, I did nothing that could have gained this from them, that could have gathered this reaction in because Andre Ambrosio is 16. This would have at least had to have started 9 months before, about 9 months before she was born, which is 2008. Uh, and so, like the very end of 2007, this at least has to have been going on since then. And in order to get my semen from like it's pretty much my first sexual encounter, like she would have already had to been participating with some group of people that was watching me or connected to me for a while. So in the least, this has been going on since 2007. I think longer than that. I think I've already brought up maybe 2000 and a whole life. Let's just say my whole life. But in the least, like it can be proved out. Like once, if you prove out that Andre Ambrosio is my child, like by DNA, because you could DNA test people, then yeah, I believe that that's I'm just sitting here watching the trains, and then this one comes by. So yeah, I think Andrea Ambrosio, if she's my child, then again, I would have had to have had her when I was 16. It means her mom would have had Alessandra Ambrosio, like a famous, incredibly attractive model, would have had to have raped me when I was 16. And I say rape because I don't. There's not really another word for like stealing someone's semen and impregnating yourself and like doing it without my consent. So you've stolen my semen, you've impregnated yourself. You had to at least there had to be an illusion around me in order for her to do that to me to begin with. So in order for me to be believing something else, if that is what is actually going on. So in any instance, I think breeding me without my permission is a form of rape, and they've done it multiple times. It appears, and again, they're using my children, like Alessandra and Andra Ambrosio, in a way that's I want a relationship. I mean, Noah and Andra Ambrosio. I want a relationship with Noah and Andra Ambrosio if they are my biological children. Like I want to love them and I want them to love me and I want, you know what I mean? Like I want to be able to meet them, like they're being held hostage from me. I want to be able to meet them and like hug and kiss them and like comfort my children and like I love you, I'm your dad and I love you, you know, that kind of thing. Um and like in the least I just want to, you know, it'd be reasonable to meet them and like hug my children. You know what I mean? Like hold my children. Um Even in the really screwed up situation where Alessandra apparently, and I think it's for some group of people, and like I've brought this up, I think this is connected to uh, the seven churches of Asia in Revelation, which is a series of if then conditional statements found in Revelation. Uh, so here in Revelation, right, Book of Revelation, the first chapter is an intro, and then the second chapter, in the intro, it says, hey, write down these messages to these churches. These churches don't exist anymore. They're spiritual realities, very clearly to me, and to like, once I say this to anybody reading it, it should be pretty clear. It's a series of if then conditional statements. If you do this, then you get this, right? Um, and, you know, it starts with one church and gets to the seventh church, and at the seventh church, by the time you get that prize is I grant you to sit with me on my throne as I sat down with my father on his throne, right? And you know, so getting to sit on the throne of Jesus and Yahweh, and you know, a little prior to that, these are the two churches I think most have to do with this situation where I've been bred and without my consent, and where people are like abusing me, and where people have set sexual traps or like traps for me, and where there's a group of people called Nicolaitans here up here, uh, like destruction of the people or victory over the people, where it's some group of seemingly like elites or people that have money and resources and they're trying to get more, and they're willing to go to really extreme levels of evil to attack innocent people, and they've attacked me in a way that is so reprehensible. I also want to add, I'm pretty sure that there's CP, child porn of Anja and Noah Ambrosio. I think that like my guess is that that was kind of like what this was all about. It's that they want to abuse me by abusing my children. Basically, they raped me and then they're raping my children. It's fucking difficult for me to like, you know, that's a difficult reality. Okay. That being said, Yahweh's more powerful than all this. There's nothing that has been done that God didn't see coming, that Yahweh didn't see coming, that Jesus didn't see coming. So as long as I'm keeping my faith in Jesus and Yahweh, I think these people have already lost. That's what I'm getting at. It's just we're working to that point where they ultimately lose in front of everybody, lose the worst way possible into the second death and infinite burning torture, whereas I get to be on the throne in the kingdom of heaven in actual reality land. So that's what I believe is going on. Um, I really believe Anja and Noah Ambrosio are my children, biologically at least. Again, they don't treat me like dad. I really wish if they are my biological children, if they're my children, I'm dad and I want to be dad and I want us to have a relationship and like I want to be there for you and I want them to be there for me and I want them to love me and like show me love and affection. Like I don't think, you know, like this is already a hard enough world. I, they treat me with really cold behavior and evil behavior, making points to like hug the men that aren't their fathers and like take pictures of it and like upload those on YouTube and like for example, Anja on Father's Day, it was a picture of her like hugging Jamie Mazur, who's like not her real dad. I think it's just some dude that probably there's child porn of him and her, is my guess. Or, whoever. I mean, I think these could be stand-ins for uh, someone with influence or wealth or whatever in Hollywood. Just someone, I don't know. They live in they live in Los Angeles, someone there, but I don't know, everywhere. Someone somewhere wants to try to prove a point to me. This person probably has a lot of wealth and whatever, and I don't really have that. What I do have is they've struck me in a way, and if I can prove it publicly and I can prove it out, I think I'm going to be the guy on the throne of Yahweh God, and I think they're going to be in infinite burning torture and wish they had never done this, but they've already done it, so it's kind of a moot point at that point. Moot. Yeah. It's also the word for death in Hebrew. Anyway, so, or Maveth, whatever, but moot, if you're actually saying it. So, long story short, I think Anja and Noah Ambrosio are my children. And, I wish I'm wrong about the more evil aspects of this. I think the whole thing is evil. I think this is incredibly difficult. I think there's, I deserve some explanation. But okay, so now that I've said that, I've kind of prefaced it so that I can show the story and pictures from last night to show what she's been doing or what kind of point she's trying to make to me now. But I kind of want to give you an example. Uh, when you see famous celebrity couples and they break up, and a good example of this is Tom. I think just watching right now is Tom Brady and Gisele Bundchen. Uh, However you pronounce her name, who's also from this same place in Brazil, same state in Brazil that Alessandra's from. It's there seemed to be some catastrophic flooding there based on me being attacked out of that place. It appears because that's I think still where Alessandra's sister Aline lives, or at least somewhere around there, Florianopolis or something. So the what is going on, I don't know how Tom Brady treated Gisele Bundchen, but I think it's really fucked up that she's just broke up with him, gotten in a relationship with another man, and is pregnant. And I mean, I guess she can do that in our society. Our society is pretty fucking broken, but she can do that. I think it's really evil and shitty and adulterous, and it sets a bad standard. I think a lot of these couples set bad standards. I kind of don't understand why men don't have public harems if you're gonna have multiple women that you're whatever. I even think the women might appreciate the honesty a little more, but in any instance, I think it's the way the men are treating the women is wrong, but the way the women are treating the men is really wrong. And this just seems like an example of that, where it's the women are trying to teach the men a point through me, and I didn't do anything. You know what I mean? Not that deserves this level of evil towards me, or that deserves we could be this evil to you. It's Yahweh could throw you into infinite burning torture. If you continue this, I think he will, but I don't think you deserve he doesn't dangle you over it. I can say you deserve it. No, does that make sense? So I don't deserve to be dangled over it for no reason. You get what I'm saying? But I think something really is going on. So in any instance, I don't deserve for this messaging to be aimed at me, for this experience to be aimed at me. Um, but the way I see how it seems like Gisele is, and she's popping up in the news all of a sudden now that she's pregnant, and I feel like it's some kind of spirit that is trying to get over this spirit of breaking up a family and trying to make a point out of another man getting her pregnant, and it's and I even think she chose a Brazilian jiu-jitsu guy because I've been making the point it's some kind of fight that people are doing, and it's it's just subtle hinting at stuff I don't think she really cares about that guy. I think she is just at this point really hateful, and she sees this as a way to get power back. And I'm not saying Tom Cruise. I'm not saying Tom Brady is a good guy or Tom Cruise, but Tom Brady. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, I can enjoy football, but like, yeah, I don't know how he is behind the scenes, but I can say this: I do not think that I deserve what they're doing to me. So whether he deserves that, I think it's really evil. I'm tired of all the evil in the world, so I don't want to see more evil. That being said, like, I can say for me, I don't believe I deserve this, and I think it's a good example of the women or some group of people just going so far fucking overboard and like betting that they're not going to get caught or that there's going to be no consequences, and that's just not reality. That's never the reality. There's always cause and effect, and I think the effect on this one is going to be bad for you. I think it's biblical. But okay. Now, that being said, I'm essentially Alessandra Ambrosio is my wife, right? And we're connected in a way as a husband and a wife would be connected through children, right? This is like the connection where I don't I didn't have a say in how we were connected in this, and even if I like outwardly for a long time I've thought like she's like the most beautiful woman. Speaking of Giselle Bundchen, I don't even like doesn't even hold a candle to Alessandra Ambrosio, and like I don't think Adriana Lima does. I don't think like I think she's beautiful outwardly. I think inside, based on what I've seen, I think she is evil and gross and reprehensible and a literal rapist. And she raped me when I was 16, which I would have been legally a child. But I don't. I think 16 is old. So like, it's still too young to have done what she did to me. No age is appropriate to do that, but 16 is pretty young to like rape me, right? So and like I don't care that like it doesn't make up for it that she's beautiful, especially that she's not here. Especially it's like I don't get to have a relationship with her, which would be the like make up for it. It's like all right, well then you're doing anything sexual I want ever. You know what I mean? Like you are like my I don't want to say slave, but like you're my wife, and like you're like I think the impetus is on you to just do what I want if you've done that to me. You know what I mean? Like realistically, I think you're kind of my like you should be my slave at that point. Like you've done something to me you can't take back and we're linked forever. It's like I think the best thing that I can do to like all right, you're forgiven, but you also have to make it up for me. It's not just like I don't just like okay, it's okay. You know what I mean? Like and then you can continue treating me like shit. It's like no, now you actually have to like treat me right and like apologize, treat me right, like make up for it, everything, and like do it in a way that I want. Not like, it appears like she's trying to even play this game of like, I think she's doing really wrong stuff to me now. I don't think she has any plan to treat me right. But I think she's like trying to sit on a fence and make the signaling kind of like she's not signaling that she's completely evil, but she's not signaling that she's on my side. She's like signaling right in the middle. And it's like to me, you're by sitting in the middle, you're not on my side. Like you're against me, right? You are adversarial to me, and you're just trying to hide it by sitting in this place of like, well, I guess she could be on my side. So I've already made the judgment, and I made this a while ago, which is why I've specifically shared this multiple times. I believe Alessandra Ambrosio here, this whole thing, and maybe including what I'm pointing around or whatever, is Jezebel from Revelation 2:20. Like is the literal Jezebel character. Else she is directly connected and is the thing that it's talking about setting traps. She's the trap that I tripped, and I'm stuck with this woman who's like my rapist essentially. And like I don't think women should have to have the children of their rapist. I also think biblically that's unwise. I think the Bible would say that's unwise. But in any instance, I don't think I should have to be attached to that and attached to her, especially when she like okay, how about this? I would love to be attached to that if she actually was on my side. Cuz I like outwardly, she's a lot of what I want, right? Inwardly, in the way she treats me, and from what I see in this situation, I hate it. It feels terrible. I hate being connected to this situation. I feel like I'm being raped. I like attention. I don't like the attention being on a situation where I've been raped, and like the women who would scream like you need to be, speak out against rapists and rape. Where are you? It's silence. That's all I hear. They literally created a character called Quiet to, after they've done this, shush me down, and that's literally like her like iconography is like a woman shushing me down after they rape me. So like this is again why I think the events of Revelation are like some group of men is using these women as like rape traps, and like or some group of people are using these women as rape traps, and they've done it, and I think they're abusing my kids, and I think they're abusing me. So it's not even I think they're abusing me. I want it over, and I think Yahweh's going to kill them for it. But I think I have to get this narrative out and explain it, because if they just died, I mean, it wouldn't make sense if I do this and like make this point and like very clearly there's this narrative I've explained it, and then all of a sudden Alessandra Andra Noah Ambrosio do die in a way especially that matches what it says in Revelation. I'm gonna be the guy on the throne of Yahweh. Actually, like not even this is there's no like dun dun. It's like there's no like if like but or like other thing. I'm going to be the guy on the throne of Jesus and Yahweh with all the power and authority of Jesus. And all the I think also that it happened here in America and in Texas. I think I'm going to have all the power and authority of the Houston government, the Texas government, the government of the United States of America. I think somehow Israel's involved in this actually. So I think some like they might have struck me in a way, and I think that's going to put me in a position of authority in Israel too. So we'll just say like wherever it matters, I think I'm going to be like, I think I'm going to have something on the government and like, or be like like an authority over the government or as a part of the government. Like here in America, the government like this, you can't allow citizens to this to happen to citizens in a way like where I was raped by a foreign national when I was 16, and like some group of people is like using it to fucking like make some kind of evil mental abuse trap. No, 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 no. The U.S. government better damn sure make up for this. You know what I mean? Like that it's allowed this to happen and seemingly has known about it, and then they tried to throw me in jail over this shit in like 2019, or they did. Not they tried to. They threw me in jail for months over this shit. And then, I think the earthquakes and volcanoes that killed people and like the crazy weather, I think Yahweh made a point and they heeded that point enough to like, all right, well, don't do any more of that, Matt. It's like, well, how about you guys don't do any more of that? Like, literally you are empowering the rapist abusers. There's no like, there's not a joke to this. There's not like there's no other part. It's just you are empowering evil. So I would assume that yeah, by the end of this, I'm gonna have all the authority of whatever the governments and things that I've just listed. But most importantly, of Jesus and Yahweh, like of the throne of Yahweh, I'm gonna have that authority, or I already do. I'm gonna suggest I already do. It's just at what point does the iron rod activate and start bopping people on the head? But okay, so I basically believe this about Alessandra. I think she's Jezebel. I want to take a quick look really fast here at which is the whole reason I'm doing this, because I'm trying essentially I'm using this as an opportunity to proof out this my point here that she's Jezebel. You know what I mean? Okay, hold on. Just go to this one. Okay. So you have Thyatira here, and right, I believe Alessandra. Can you see this? Is this character right here? Like, I think this is like, I guess it could just be a woman named Jezebel or Isabel. or whatever. Itzabel. It's like it could just be someone named Jezebel, but I think the idea is that Jezebel is a type of a woman. It's like the worst woman in the Old Testament, maybe the worst woman in the entire Bible, or close to it. And so maybe actually this woman is the word, the woman who it's calling Jezebel, but it needs to show you the type of woman that she is. So it chooses Jezebel. That's why I think, and a little in, is that for Noah? Maybe, I don't know. So I mean, maybe some woman raped my son to make some kind of point to me. I don't know. Is that Stephanie Justin or Beyonce or some shit like that? Fernanda Mota? I don't know. One of you, Aline Ambrosia, Alessandra. I mean, is that the whole point? She'd rather like rape me and then rape my children than be with me, or like some evil rapey fucking point like that. All this ends up being like the women are just rapists. That's what I've learned from this. And if you're not, prove it to me. Prove it, because the impetus is now on you. It's not on me to like. I've already proved out that this is happening, and anybody with 2 bits of a brain would know, like, yeah, okay, he's not lying, and that's clearly going on. So, I'm kind of surprised some kind of authority hasn't like come in and started beating people over the head, but I'm pretty sure it's about to happen. And I do think it happens in kind of succession with Jezebel dying. So this is what this is. Write to the angel of the church in Thyatira, say, here's the message of the Son of God who has eyes like a burning flame and feet like burnished bronze. I know all about you and how charitable you are. I know your faith and devotion and how much you put up with. Yeah, I'm putting up with a lot, huh? And I know how you are still making progress. Yep. Nevertheless, because I would say this in 2018, I would be screaming my ass off about this, and now I'm just I guess satiring it in a video that is still something that I can use to get the narrative across effectively. Nevertheless, I have a complaint to make. You are encouraging the woman Jezebel. It also reads in other versions, nevertheless, I have a complaint to make. You forgive the woman Jezebel. It's the same. The word in Greek that's used for you are encouraging is the same used in other parts in the New Testament for forgiveness, when it says you should forgive people over and over and over and over again. Well, basically here it's saying like you're getting whoever this is, which I'm claiming is me, I believe is being rebuked for forgiving Jezebel because what she's done is reprehensible and shouldn't be forgiven, but it's also because she isn't going to stop. And it's wrong, and Yahweh doesn't want it to continue. The idea is like if you actually repent, you don't continue to do the sin and you make up for it and you're actually repentant. This is not that. The way Alessandra's acting is not that, and we'll look at that in a second, but she's acting really terrible towards me. So, nevertheless, I have a complaint to make. You are encouraging the woman Jezebel, who claims to be a prophetess, and by her teaching, she is luring my servants away to commit the adultery of eating food which has been sacrificed to idols. Again, it's not talking about actual food. It's talking about sexuality and that she's cheating, and that the eating food here is a euphemism from the Old Testament relating to sexuality, just as drinking water is a euphemism from the Old Testament. Go read the Proverbs. Go read Song of Psalms. It's in there. Especially the first 10 books of the Proverbs. So, by her teaching, so her teaching in coordination with the Nicolaitans is that, I guess you're allowed to set traps to try to trap people and like lord your authority over them and abuse them and like, whatever she's teaching. Like whatever this is wrong, but what has happened to me is also wrong. But, to commit the adultery of eating food which has been sacrificed to idols. I guess also one of my thoughts is like eating food could be, it talks about milk and meat and kind of different things, but eating food could be like, I don't know, related to family, like it's like good nutrition, having a family, and like, like the idea that like, having a wife can like double your, a good wife is like good for your health. As I've said previously here, I actually think that what's going on through this is some form of what it says here. A virtuous woman is a crown to her husband, but she that maketh ashamed is a rottenness in his bones. It's also translated as cancer. I think that someone is trying to use, like, basically strike me through a woman or multiple women that I'm connected to as a wife. And the way, like, I'm saying, well, I'm not married, but I mean, technically, by having children with Alessandra Ambrosio, like our relationship is like that of a husband and wife. Like that's the idea of getting married, is to, like, the two become one flesh, and then you make something that's the combination of the two of you. But it definitely feels like that was the intention there. And so the idea that like that's one of the things that I think is being used against me, and like why that's going on like that. So just so I can make that more clear. But okay, so she's basically luring people into sexual traps, I think, and or to the idea, it's like if you're in a relationship with someone, but that, like, if I like, hypothetically, with Alessandra Ambrosio, some man or group of men have recorded videos of her, or have like made a point to like ritualize sexual experience with her, or even just have sex with her. Like, the idea is like her sexuality has been sacrificed to these other men in a way that is like diseasing, essentially, to me, right? And except it's been set as a trap, and like the idea is to spring it. You know what I mean? It's not something that like she's gonna be uh it's not going to be obvious. It's supposed to be something that they spring on you so that they can like kill you, right? It's like killing to the spirit. Like, you have this wife that you think is chaste, or like in the least has been faithful to you, and all of a sudden, like, there's a video of her getting railroaded by multiple men, or like all of a sudden she's pregnant, or like another thing that I brought up, Alessandra Ambrosio, like Andrea Ambrosio, couldn't might not be her first child. Like, I feel like these celebrities are doing things where they're having secret children. I really believe that, and like, they think they're part of some kind of, like, I don't know, core of like astronauts or something. I don't know. It very similar to the ideas that you see in Death Stranding, where the babies have like superpowers. I think they think that they've like taken my babies or BBs or whatever, and like the Death Stranding idea is like they think they're like using them as like weapons or something to, like, I don't know. Uh, they've weaponized, I think, babies and like having children and stuff like that. And that's not something that's not completely found in the Bible. It talks about sons being arrows in your quiver, and blah blah blah. But it's not talking about like essentially like raping someone and stealing their children. That But that does seem to be kind of what the Death Stranding thing is. Like, am I Cliff whatever Unger, the disabled veteran, and the BB is my child that someone has stolen from me after some group of people like murdered me or something? I mean, because that's kind of what it feels like, except I'm still alive, and like it looks like I'm about to have all the power of Yahweh God, and that people making art around this abusive bullshit. Like, once Alessandra dies, I'm bringing the iron rod and this sharp double-edged sword. I'm bringing the sharp double-edged sword to your throat, and I'm bringing, or Yahweh is, and and the iron rod, over your head. So stop empowering rapists to hurt me and other people. Is that reasonable? I mean, the Palestinian people, they are fine with rape, and so like I've literally, as I'm going through this, I'm seeing these people who are just denying all this rape and stuff that's going on, and I'm like, very, that is like, even people like confess to it, and like people are still denying that's happening. So I'm like looking at my situation, which is hard to prove out, and I'm like, all sorts of people are going to have their own ideas, but like this is actually happening, and this is really evil and wrong to me, and like it needs to end. So I have given her time to like, you got this part where Jezebel claims to be a prophetess, and by her teaching she's luring my servants away to commit the adultery of eating food which has been sacrificed to idols. Or like, I don't know, getting in relationships or being in relationships with women that have given their sexuality away to worthless men or other women or whatever else, in order to hurt me, or to like give it to them instead of give it to me, or whatever it is. Or like maybe they're taking my children and abusing, like there's a lot of things that this could be, but I would suggest that if you compare this to what's going on in my situation, it matches regardless. Like, whatever the fucking thing is, it's matching it. So I have given her time to reform, but she is not willing to change her adulterous life. This is why I've titled this video, Alessandra Ambrosio-Wilkins is committing adultery, because I'm just proving this out. Now I'm consigning her to bed and all her partners in adultery, to troubles that will test them severely unless they repent of their practices. And I will see that her children die. So, and there's a P here, so children P, child porn, I'm assuming. Like, this is why I think there's child porn of, whatever. But not just that reason. I mean, I can see what's going on with Epstein and Diddy, and, you know, this might even be a part of that. I mean, did P. Diddy, did people in the music industry, it really looks like Beyonce and Jay-Z are actively participating in this. And, like, it looks to me like Beyonce's bragging about participating in this or something. And, like, it doesn't look like she's doing anything amenable to, like, what I want out of it, which is to stop being, like, raped by random supermodel lady. You know what I mean? Like, or my wife. I mean, what is she to me? You know what I mean? Like, mother of my children, baby mama. And, like, you know, it just seems pretty fucking wrong to me. So now I'm consigning her to bed and all her partners in adultery to troubles that will test them severely. So I'm bringing this up also because what we're going to look at is Alessandra's making a point that she's cheating on me or that she's committing adultery right now. Like, she's, like, making a point to do it in a way that's kind of subtle, but, like, she's already crossed a line. So I'm just making the point that, like, what she's doing now is already wrong. Like, it doesn't matter if there's nothing, like, we'll look at it here in a second, but if there's nothing else going on behind the scenes, even just the amount that's going on now, coupled with what the situation already is, it's already wrong. I already think they're rapists. I already think Alessandra Ambrosio is a rapist. I think her family's fucking evil. Like, I'm looking at Ambrosio and I'm like, are you fucking Jezebel? Because you clearly have children by multiple men. You don't give a fuck actually about what the Bible says. You're just, like, parroting Catholic traditions and bullshit, like, idolatry stuff, like with all these little trinkets that she sells, and they don't do fuck all. You know what does actually something? The Spirit and the Word of God that you actually find in the book. And that word, which is so against what Ambrosio and Alessandra Ambrosio and anybody seemingly in the Ambrosio family is about. So, like, pretending to be a Catholic is not going to save you in front of the throne of God. I mean, actually. So that all the churches realize that it is I who search heart and loins and give to each one of you what your behavior deserves. Is that so that all the pagan people? No, this says so that all the churches realize. Like, to these people that I'm talking about are supposedly Catholic or supposedly Christian, like Ambrosio. It's like, your cousin's fucking raping me. And, like, your family's bragging about it and being shitty towards me. And, like, both your cousins fucking rape me, it looks like, and have my children. Like, you know what I mean? I demand that you guys speak up about this. As the one on the throne, you better goddamn do it. But my whole point is they aren't going to because they're fake Christians. Just like a lot of people. But anyway, and that's not a strike on Christ. That's a strike on people. You know what I mean? Like, Jesus is the truth. But people don't want to hold to that truth, actually. So, it's because it's not easy. But on the rest of you in Thyatira, all of you who have not accepted this teaching or learnt the secrets of Satan, Q, as they are called, I mean, I can guess a bunch of different things. I still think Alessandra either has children with some other man, like has a child or children with some other men, like my children, if those are my biological children, aren't first, Andra and Noah, and the idea is, like, they're second-class children to her. Her original children are the ones to make whatever, and, like, I don't know. I think the whole thing is evil. I think you should only really have children through one man unless there's, like, some kind of worked out situation between everybody and everybody's in agreement and blah 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 blah, and nobody gets hurt and all this other stuff, and then it's still like a difficult situation. But in the way that people are doing it now, it's just like it's death. I think it's like literally a disease on people. And, like, I think also part of the threat that I'm getting at with this, one of the reasons that I'm calling Alessandra out for her adultery, is because I think she's, like, trying to make me fearful that she's going to emulate what Gisele Bündchen has done, where she's, like, Gisele is being really shitty to Tom Brady to, like, make some kind of point. I guess Tom Brady could be a gay dude. I'm not, like, and I think that gay men have different prerogatives when it comes to children, so it maybe doesn't bother them, but like in the same way, but uh like being forked where your wife has children with another man. Like if you're a gay dude, I mean you're gay. You're not really like we're actually worried about the women. So I don't know, but if I was in Tom Brady's shoes, I'd feel bad. Um, I think a lot of women are having children with men just to make evil rapey points to me, and then when they realize like there's already a bigger situation going on, you've already lost because like this situation going on, if she dies, you've done something you can't undo, and then like what they've done is so overboard, you're going to be judged for like attacking me at the same time, essentially. Um, okay, I'm not, to those who have not accepted this teaching or learnt the secrets of Satan, Q as they are called, I am not laying any special duty, but hold firmly onto what you already have until I come to the one who proves victorious. It actually says the one who proves victorious, or to he who proves victorious, and keeps working for me until the end. I will give the authority over the pagans, which I have been given by my Father, to rule them with an iron scepter, and shatter them like earthenware, and I will give him the morning star, a little S next to it. I get to be Superman. If anyone has ears to hear, let him listen to what the Spirit is saying to the churches. So, okay. Now I want to look at this. So this whole thing, first I guess 45 minutes of this, way longer than I wanted it to be, but I don't think I've missed anything that I can think of. So, is that I want to look at like every night I add to my story and pictures as kind of like this is today's story, or this is today's events. This is what is trying to be communicated at me, and this is how I'm responding back, or something like that. I mean, it's just take it as I call it the story and pictures. It's what it is to me. So it's like a story, my story. It's a narrative that I can follow, that I participate in creating. That I create / participate in creating. You know what I mean? Like, do I take these pictures of Beyonce? No, but in the same way, when I'm DJing and it seems like the original intent that the person making the song, if I'm making a narrative with multiple people's songs and it fits and it looks like it fits better than like if they made an EP and that song was in the EP, but somehow it fits more in my thing than in their own EP, then that's what I mean. It's like, in the least, I'm creating something using what's being created. So last night, you can go through here and stuff like that, but last night, Alessandra Ambrosio posted this, and it's her kissing some guy on the neck. Buck Palmer is what his Instagram handle is. And I guess it's the fourth guy publicly. Let's see. Jamie Mazur, Nicola Odie, Rich Lee, and now Buck Palmer as like men that she's dating or making a point to be like either naked in pictures with or whatever. I think they're gay dudes or like male models or something, but they could just be bi guys or like, I don't know. Just this is the way I look at it. They're men that are making some kind of evil rapey point to me through Alessandra. Or, maybe even more accurately, Alessandra is making some kind of rapey, evil, adulterous point to me through Buck here. I think he's a shitty person, but like the real thing is on her. Like, he's not a good person, but like this is more on her than it is him, if that makes sense. Because she's allowed this to go on like this. This is why the Jezebel character dies, and the men that she's committing adultery with. So this is my point to Buck. If she dies, you're fucked. The sword is at your throat. You understand that? Whether Yahweh brings it or whoever, your life is forfeit, essentially. Unless you actually repent, and then that brings this whole bullshit down. So, I'm making a point here. That being said, she's doing this thing that I'm kind of talking about where she's not really kissing him, whatever, kind of. It looks like her, I mean, who knows if her lips are actually on, whatever. It's kind of like you're in this, she does this where it's like, the idea is to like it's clearly that like I shouldn't have any hope here, right? But the idea is that like I'm supposed to hope, like grasp for things, grasp for straws, right? It's like, well, she's not actually kissing him. No, she's not. Like she's like just giving him a peck or whatever, and like it looks kind of fake. She actually looks like she's pointing at his Adam's apple. I don't have a prominent Adam's apple. I guess she could be saying something about voice, or I think, there's a lot of things that I get from the palm trees. I get things from the palm trees. I get things from the stoplight. I get, like, that would make sense to me based on imagery that I've taken in over a period that I can't just vocalize every little bit that I've taken in over, the past few days that would make it make sense in context to me. But, like, I would just say that it's meant to, like, hurt me and like provoke a response out of me, but it also appears to be like one of the things where I've said previously where they try to like it appears like there's this idea of getting my hope up and then dashing it, and that they get some kind of power from that. And I think the idea of like this is like to get my hope up. Well, she's not actually kissing him and blah 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 blah. And it's like, but to me, and this is my point, she's already committing adultery. She raped me when I was 16. I guess she did it again when I was like 20 something, and that's Anja and Noah, because again, I believe they are both my biological children. It's bad if it's one of them. It's pretty fucking terrible if she did this to me when I'm 16, and like she's long term been trying to psychologically and mentally and emotionally abuse me, and like you know it has only worked more recently because I've only given her attention in the past 7 or 8 years, which is really when you can see all this went down. In fact, a lot of these really extreme evil things that have seemed to have happened like right around the time, like the Big Grail thing where I got a bunch of money stolen from me. I mean, I think a lot of this is a part of like this group like went to an extreme to where there should be a trail. Like I'm positive there's a trail, and that if the intelligence services, the police, if anybody was doing their actual fucking job, this would be the biggest scandal on the fucking planet. But I got a bunch of people who are fucking corrupt and lying and blah blah blah. So it is what it is. But I think there's something to do with the Big Grill case, where like I mean, is the Italian government participating? Anyway, to be fair, I've been happy to get any money back at all, but it doesn't feel great. And then being rug pulled again, like, I mean, just very obviously. It seems like there's I've been targeted. People have robbed me multiple times. I mean, I got my car stolen, my money on Big Grill stolen, like, just over and over, people are taking things from me. And, like, this would be, I would also consider taking things from me. But, like, just par for the course. I do think I get more from it, though, if I take right action, actually, and like I'm able to prove out that this is the situation and she is Jezebel and this is her, Jezebel committing adultery, or like at least hinting at it strongly that it's still going on, because I've already pointed this out before, but like now the public kind of dynamic has changed where now it's public and obvious to me that Alessandra's children are my biological children, that Anja and Noah are my biological children, and that all these men that she's been around have just been fake relationships, else adulterous relationships, else both. I mean, the idea of like holding my kids hostage from me or whatever. Like, my point with this is whether this crosses a line or not, the line has already been crossed. Maybe, a line has already been crossed. A line has already been crossed? Yeah, I think that's the joke that when they impregnated Alessandra Ambrosio, that's the joke. They crossed the line. They already, I mean, actually, they already crossed it, like, when they raped me and, like, bred me without my permission. Even if I like them. You need consent. Right? I mean, like, do you? Women? Do you need consent? Men? I think every woman would probably argue, yes, you need consent. Men would probably argue, yes, you can't just breed me without my consent. I think most people, most human beings, most people, I think AIs would tell you you need consent. What you've done is evil and wrong. You are a terrible, fucking atrocious person. And I've still, this is the other thing. This is why I think it's like there's a rebuke in the thing. I'm still, the offer is still until she dies, I guess. If you repent and you are actually sorry and you actually make up for it and you actually do, like treat me right, do what I want instead of like things that are gonna hurt me, bring me my kids and like, treat me like I'm dad and actually be my family. If you are actually like repentant and like make up for it and do the right things, okay, you know what I mean? But it seems like either she's not going to do that or she's just trying to take it as how far can we take it? And it's like, I think if that's your attitude, you can't take it that far. You always, even if you were planning to like, all right, at some point we'll do whatever. You are Jezebel, and you're always going to kill you. So that's what I believe. Uh, but I really believe, yeah, she's already crossed the line. This is crossing the line too. Like once you've already crossed the line, it's like and so I'm not setting lines too. I just don't want this to happen, and she's already done it. So it's like, well, fuck. You know what I mean? Like I didn't say, hey, there's this line in the sand, don't cross it. It's just like she raped me, and she was already past the line that made me comfortable. Does that make sense? Anybody? Am I just speaking to myself here? Um, no, I'm not. I do know that people are hearing this, and I do know that changes are happening, and I do not think that this lasts forever. So actually enjoy it. If you are enjoying it, which I don't think they're really enjoying it, enjoy it while you can. But anyway, so I, you can look at the, supposed to no more limitations, no distractions, no more holding back. It's time to plant bold intentions, manifest effortlessly, bloom naturally, lean into your vision, nurture what's next, step through this doorway to limitless dreams, abundance, success, wealth, prosperity, and everything you desire. I mean, it just seems like she's taunting me. But if the thing that I'm trying to manifest is going to happen, I'm trying to manifest Jezebel dying, and I think you're Jezebel. I'm trying to manifest you dying, is what I'm saying. And like, if you're saying no more limitations, like it's here, well then you should be dying. I mean, that's how I feel. This is not like me making. This is not a bit, right? I think she's an evil, reprehensible rapist of a woman. I don't care that she's like. I think she's absurdly beautiful. Like I think she's the most beautiful woman, but still think she's a reprehensible rapist, and I hate being connected to her. I hate the way that Anja and Noah Ambrosio treat me. Like I want to love them, but like they don't make it easy when they abuse me. When their whole existence is like an abuse on my life, and like I want to be dad and like treated right, and like they don't do that. They treat me really wrong. All right. So trying to make it like I think the idea was to provoke a response. This is what I posted in my story and pictures last night. So this is black and white. I say that because it's the pictures in black and white because she's trying to get over a point that her point is in black and white. So I'm saying my point, or I'm saying at least this point. This is black and white, purposefully designed to get a reaction from me, and then the emojis are kind of meant to represent the other manifestation where it's like the people that are abusing me. Like Buck is now participating in the abuse. I'm manifesting that you're dying and that the people you love most are getting the worst diseases and terminal illnesses. I'm manifesting that on everybody participating, but particularly the people around Alessandra Ambrosio who are empowering it and pretending this isn't happening and letting her rape me and abuse me with my children and abuse my children. That is who is going to like receive the terminal illness or whatever the disease is. It's like I'm manifesting with the power of Yahweh God, with the power of Jesus actually, not just this fake Christianity like with what Ambrosio is doing and shit, but like actually with the power of Yahweh God and the belief that I have that you see generate lightning. All right, lightning power belief, except generating in just kill this person. Just like I manifest the worst terminal diseases and illnesses and stuff like that. So I'm manifesting that again, on I'm manifesting Alessandra, Anja, and Noah, her family, and everyone that is connected to her becomes extremely terminally ill and dies. I am manifesting that whoever is using Alessandra and Anja and Noah Ambrosio to hurt me and to disempower me becomes extremely terminally ill and dies. That's the vomiting emojis. All these people around her who are going to get sick and die over this. This is why. So Buck Palmer again. I don't care what the situation is. What she's already done is wrong, and then the way you're participating in it is wrong. So, when the people you love start dying, and then ultimately you get ill, this is why. And also to anybody connected to Alessandra Ambrosio in this situation where people are dying. And, I'm going to suggest, like, okay, if Alessandra isn't off chance, she isn't Jezebel, and Jezebel's like, Beyonce here, okay, then it goes for Beyonce. You know what I mean? I just believe that the most likely candidate for Jezebel is this woman committing adultery right here. Is a kiss adultery? I'm going to say this. With all the other things going on, yeah, that is adultery. Like, is every instance of like a peck or something going to be adultery? No. But it's also not like if you're trying to like push a boundary that like, hey, this makes me uncomfortable. Well, can we do it and make him uncomfortable, but not make him? It's like, fuck, you just deserve to die. Like, I don't want. What am I doing with this? What are you doing with this? Like, can we go to a place where that's not like your ultimate purpose in reality? Isn't to try to make me feel shitty? It's to like, I don't know, create a world where people don't die and where everything's better. You don't want that? Then you deserve to be in the place where you're burningly tortured forever. You deserve to be in the second death. And when you're there, I mean, congrats, you get what you deserve. That's like based on your behavior, based on the way you're acting, based on your thought process, based on everything that I can see about you. That's what you deserve. That's what you're going to get. So, choose better. Make better decisions with your life. All right, now, so this is black and white, purposely designed to get a reaction from me. If Anja and or Noah Ambrosio are my biological children, which they appear to be, then just them existing without my consent and being kept from me is evil enough. That's why I'm saying this line has already been crossed. Like, what? Are you going to, like, is she kissing him or not? I don't know. Should I decide whether I hate her or not based on whether she's, like, giving this guy a kiss or not behind his blah, 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 blah? It's like, you're already crossing a line. You're already so wrong. You've already treated me so wrong. And, like, you don't care about me. Like, get the fuck out of here. You don't, like, you are not good to me. Even if you, hypothetically, even if you did care about me, you aren't good to me. You make me feel incredibly uncomfortable. You make me feel bad being connected to you. Like, it feels bad being connected to Alessandra Ambrosio. As beautiful as she is on the outside, she's literally rotten on the inside, and it's rotting me. And she's like a parasite that's being used to, like, rot me from the inside. That's what it feels like. Prove that you're not, okay? Actually prove that you're not. And if I'm wrong, I'm purposefully willing, or I'm completely willing, not purposefully willing. I'm completely willing to take back wrong statements that I've made. Actually, I'm willing to, like, take back wrong statements that I made. That's right. That's, how people should operate. But, like, I don't see it. I don't see that happening. It just appears like I'm being proven more right. And, like, I don't want to be right about this, but, like, I want this to be over. So part of that is, like, deciding what it is and then just taking action. And what I've decided is I believe Alessandra Ambrosio is legitimately Jezebel from Revelation. And, like, the situation around it seems evil enough. Like, did you rape me when I was fucking 16? Yeah, I mean, I can't, like, you gotta be fucking Jezebel. There's, like, no way that you're not. So, like, and again, it's not like as adorable as Noah and Anja Ambrosio are, and like, as much as I want to love them as my kids, they don't treat me right. They treat me terribly. They make me feel bad. They like put other men over me to make points to me. Like they've just been raised to like make me feel bad by their mom. Like they've literally, like I put here, but using them to abuse me while making a public show of it, right? And of being with, and while making a public show of it and of being with men that are not me is why I believe that Alessandra is Jezebel from Revelation 2:20. That part that we just went over. Ale is pointing at his Adam's apple, maybe to subtly suggest something about another man with a prominent Adam's apple. Now, she's pointing at his Adam's apple. I'm like, what is she doing here? And I'm like, trying to think of prominent Adam's apples. The first person that came to mind is Cristiano Ronaldo. I brought him up in a recent video about this. I think he's acting, the fact that he did a photo shoot that was like risque and kind of like, here, let's just look it up real fast. Look, she's like pretty much naked with him. She's topless in some of the pictures. Like, I think it's really evil and rapey. And like, again, it's just a bunch of rapists like trying to shush me down. Like, I'm not kidding when I said that. And like, he's literally someone who's been fucking accused of legit actual rape. He's not allowed in America because he's was he convicted of it? I don't know, but he's a rapist. So like this, whatever this bullshit is, it's like just more of the same. Does that make sense? So all this shit seems really evil and abusive to me. Like there's no reason to have this photo shoot other than to make me feel bad, right? I don't give a fuck that it's just a photo shoot. I think you're fucking evil and reprehensible. Just as a person, it seems like, and no amount of charity or bullshit like press shoots or anything is going to make up for it. In the same way, none of the shit that Ambrosio do, like all the fake Catholic symbolism and like fucking little trinkets and shit. If I'm the guy on the throne of Yahweh God, if I'm the guy on the throne of Jesus, if I'm even just a guy who's actually calling you out for your bullshit, you're in the wrong. You're like, based on what it says in the Bible, y'all are in the wrong. And like Cristiano Ronaldo, I'm pretty sure he lives in Saudi Arabia because he's a secret Muslim, or like he loves the Muslim men or something. I'm not exactly sure. Like, all this pretending, you can, point up to the sky and make Catholic crosses and shit all you want. It doesn't make you actually a Christian. It doesn't mean Jesus actually has your back or that you actually have Jesus' back. So, anyway, this is fucking evil and shitty. And I'm just like, my point is he has a very prominent Adam's apple, and I think she's trying to make a point, like, with it, right? And they're also trying to make a point by having these watches, but it's like really shitty that she's topless in this photo shoot, right? And this has happened after, right, she raped me and had my children. So, literally raped me. I didn't consent to this. And so, like, I definitely didn't consent to this. You know what I mean? And, like, I don't know. These people have more money than is imaginable. But, like, it can't stop the reality that you're terrible fucking people, and God is going to throw you into infinite burning torture for being rapists. So, he's a rapist, she's a rapist. That's where I'm at with this. So, I think, if you look at his Adam's apple, he has like a caricature-esque Adam's apple, which is why I think she's like making this point, right? And I think he's a good soccer player. That doesn't mean I like him as a person or that I don't think he's a rapist. You're not a rapist, prove it. Speak out. I mean, I know people know about this. You haven't said shit. You haven't done anything worthy. You haven't done anything worthwhile. I mean, like, it's just rapist. But I'm making the point with this. And like, again, she is a model, and I'm sure she's done nude stuff. I didn't consent to being like, I wouldn't want to be in a relationship with her because of because of this, essentially. Like, I kind of avoided being in relationships because it seems really incredibly, oh, is this something actually about someone else? And Larry Ellison or something. I don't know. I'm just like, it makes me. I think that's the point. It's supposed to make me paranoid of like, well, who's abusing me using this woman? Well, it seems like a bunch of people at this point. But, you know, like I generally avoided women like in relationships, right? This has been thrust on me, right? I didn't choose this. It chose me, right? I didn't choose Alessandra. She chose me. That's how it looks like. I mean, at some point earlier in the summer when I was like, I wish I was Noah Ambrosio's father. Well, guess what? I already was Noah Ambrosio's biological father. You know what I mean? But kind of my point with this is like, oh, so you mean I was wrong? I didn't actually want to be in a relationship with Alessandra because I'm already in one, and she has my children, and she's just used as like a sack of meat that's an abuser. I mean, like that's what it seems like to me. So I also think something. Did I see something about like Hector Herrera and Georgina Rodriguez or something? Like someone trying to make some kind of evil rapey point with that. I hate all of this. I hate all of you fucking rapists that are like making points with these women. Like, do I hate people? No. If I've said your name and you haven't done something wrong, and I'm just being paranoid, don't take it personally. But if I've said your name and you have done something wrong, congrats. You're a shitty, evil person. Everybody participating in whatever these covert fucking rapist strikes on me, like once she dies, once Jezebel or whatever the most prominent fucking woman doing it, which I'm gonna suggest is Jezebel here, and Beyonce, I guess, because she's from here. But I mean, do I have secret children with Beyonce? I don't know about that, but it does appear very much so like I have secret children with her. So anyway, yes, my whole point with this is I think she's trying to suggest something about like I mean is she secretly in a relationship with is this guy because she's pointing at his Adam's apple? Is she actually trying to say like oh actually it's Ronaldo? I'm secretly in a relationship with this guy who's like hiding in Saudi Arabia because probably if he came to America he'd be arrested or something. You know what I mean? Like something like that. But anyway, I mean can he even come to America? Because I think there is that court case. But yeah, anyway, it all seems really evil and rapey. And again, like you'd expect, like if I'm Anja and Noah Ambrosio's father, and like I want to be their father, and I don't think I treat them bad. Like I want to treat them right. I just don't have any ability to because like again they're being held hostage from me. It's like if I was them, I'd be like, "Mom's evil to Mom's evil to Dad. Why is Mom acting so evil to Dad?" They don't care about me. They're like they treat the men that she uses like this. They treat them like their dad. That's why I think it says I'm like why in at the fourth church Jezebel and her children die. I think they're like they have her spirit. They don't have that I can see the spirit of Jesus, the spirit of God. They don't have like a good spirit in them. They have a spirit of a like abusive fucking rapey kind of evil stuff. I'm not perfect. I'm trying to be perfect in the way as it says be perfect in the way, right? Yahweh, but I'm still a human, but so I fuck up a lot. And I fuck up really bad, but like, these kind of fuck ups are not mostly I fuck up in my own in private and like in a way that it shouldn't be held because the it shouldn't be held against me in the same way because of the situation that I actively find myself in, but like you know, reasonably, I haven't done anything that would make them hate me or treat me like this. It just seems like, again, I haven't been there to raise them because I haven't been allowed. She raped me. I mean, I shouldn't have to explain this, but I do, like, just so that hypothetically, Anja and Noah Ambrosio heard this, right? It's like I want to be there for you. If I'm biologically your dad, I want to be there and love you and like actually take care of you and treat you right and like show you affection and protect you and like whatever. But I mean, when I say protect you, I guess I can't even protect myself if they've done this to me. And that's like, that's why I haven't had kids yet. Well, you know what I mean? That's like why I tried not to have kids yet. It's because like I just like I want to be a good dad, and like I want to be ready, and like I'm not ready. I wasn't ready at 16, and whether I'm ready now or not, I mean, like you can't rape me and keep my kids from me and not expect like I think Yahweh's gonna kill her, and I think Yahweh's gonna kill all these men like Buck here, and even if he's a gay dude and they're just trying to make some kind of rapey point, a bunch of gay men stealing my wife and children away from me to make some kind of like I don't know rapey point to me, and it's like I've been nothing but an ally to you guys, and you guys are just letting me down so much. It's fucking terrible. But okay, all right. Let's look at okay. So next thing here, I saved a video from last night, and it's like kind of let's watch it, and then we'll go over the rest of the story and pictures, and then this will be done. This doesn't need to be 4 hours long or something. It's already longer than I intended it to be, but whatever. I'm getting my point out. At least I'm thoroughly explaining it. It's not just I'm not gonna. Hopefully, I'm not gonna miss something. The goal is to not miss something. But okay, so is this the best way to play this? I could play this on my phone, but I also transferred it to my computer, so maybe I'll play it there actually. So let me play it on the computer here because the way it's formatting it while mirroring on my phone. Free the mind. So essentially, just to make it clear what's going on, this was when I clicked the her story last night. This was the like progression. So, and if you looked at my story and pictures, well, hold on. One of the things that they also do is like she's acting really evil and reprehensible. It's the same thing like with Giselle or whatever. I can only imagine if I was Tom Brady and like, my wife is now pregnant with another man, but like all like in style and people and whatever are like, oh, Giselle's pregnant with her child. Oh my god. And it's like completely it's really, I think, reprehensible and evil the way that kind of it seems to me not to be about actually having a child to love it, but it seems more about making an evil kind of rapey abuse point to Tom Brady. So I can understand and sympathize with that, but I also think whatever's going on with me is public enough that like, can I really think anybody's like? It looks like everybody's just watching this go down. So why should I care about what happens with you? I don't think it's right, but like, I mean, come on, like probably your thing would have not happened if people actually spoke up for what's going on with me because like yeah someone would have enough power to like kind of change the social norms around this because the norms have changed more recently except they've changed into something that's like pretty reprehensible and difficult to take and it's just like bringing the world down to the lowest common denominator like the like the yeah, lowest common denominator type thing. Like it's not. It's like a race to the bottom with that kind of behavior. Um, so, so like what I'm getting at is this is all like sweet and like a little piano piece is playing, but like when you really have the backstory where she's just being an abusive rapist towards me, like where she's literally my rapist and she's just like mocking the situation and like trying to use like sweet things and turn those sour. Like this is a nice little tune, but it's like, it's something nice that's being used by someone evil. It's just gross and difficult to take. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm trying to say with this. Yeah, it's all about where the planets are. I never see anything about Jesus or whatever. That's why, another thing. Like, I don't think she's a Christian or anything. So I'm not. I don't think her cousin Priya Ambrosio, who literally has a Catholic store where you buy like Catholic wares, is like. I think she's a fake. Well, I think a lot of Christians are fake Christians. Like, if you actually lived it out, like, lived out the word, like, I don't know, like me, but like, no, if you actually lived it out, where you were like knocking, seeking, doing the things that Jesus said, or how about in my instance, I'm doing the things from Revelation. Like, I'm going through the things from Revelation 2 and 3, right? At the 7 churches. There's a different kind of situation around me because I'm actively going through those things, and it's like, in the same way, like, well, I already have multiple wives, I guess, technically, by having multiple children with these women that have like connected themselves to me like wives. So like, whether Christianity says, I have my own thoughts on what it talks about, like divorce and like, uh, if the two become one flesh and then they're one flesh and then another woman comes, can that woman be one flesh with the two that have already become one flesh, and now they're one flesh and now another woman comes, and then there's a harem? I mean, is that so? Like, like I look in the Old Testament, I'm pretty sure that's the idea of like Solomon and King David, and like, even the patriarchs had multiple wives. So like in any instance, my whole point with this is just kind of like I don't think she's a Christian. I don't think Priya Ambrosio is a Christian. I think this is really evil. She's making some kind of point to me, and it's just, I mean, I'm getting that you're making a point to me. It's just more of the same. Show me, show me, show me how you do that trick. Also, the same thing where it's like, what the song that's playing, listen to the lyrics, you listen, like, look at who it's by, look at whatever. It's like more messaging. It's communicating points and information. It's just like, when I say plausibly deniable, I mean like, is that a point that she's trying to make? Well, I mean, it's like, it could be, like, could not be, but like, if she is, she can deny it, even if she is. That's what I'm trying to say. So, another thing that I wanted to say about this is, it seemed like, well, here, hold on. I also think, like, is Beyonce riding in a motorcycle in the pictures that she posted? And then there's a motorcycle up here, and it seems like that's kind of what. So, yeah, it's like, yeah. So I do think that like these women are acting in like a coordinated fashion, using their little minions. um, okay, listen to this, and like, what I want you to take from this is that it's implied that they're like, it seems like he's asking, like, we going back to your place to fuck? You know what I mean? Like, I'm Buck. We're going back to your place to fuck. I'm just trying to make the point that it's like, it's just really, honestly, it seems poorly acted to me, but like, just watch. Or, I'm sorry, don't just watch. Watch, but listen. Really, it's the listen part, because I think that's the point of this, is that what they say.
What about your place?
What?
So we go to your place. We're gonna stay there. Like, I mean, again, you're an adulterous piece of shit, and like, I don't care if like it's just, this is just for show and there's nothing going on behind the scenes. I don't like any of this. I think these are vapid, evil, rapist people. I think when she dies, because I'm pretty sure she's Jezebel, I think the sword's at Buck's throat. It is a little Adam's apple there. Show me how you do that trick. I don't know. Is she trying to point out, did she kiss my cousin Adam or something? I mean, she could have, like, I don't know. It seems like they're using their family to abuse me. I don't see why they wouldn't use my family to abuse me. The one that makes me scream, she said. The one that makes me laugh, she said. And threw her arms around my neck. So, like, it's supposed to be difficult for me watching because I think he knows what he's doing and that these are people that are trying to abuse me to make some kind of point because he wants to prove that he's a real man, but he just looks like a piece of shit. But it's really childish and immature because, like, no, you can't, like, you're just random guy that she's cheating with. You aren't, like, whatever. And like we'll go back in my thing because she tried to hint at it a while back that something was going on and whatever. But my whole point with this is when they go is when you hear her say like we going back to your place to stay at your place or we going and the idea is like are we going to your place to fuck or are we going to my place to and so like I'm just trying to make that clear. Again, he seems like a gay dude to me that's trying to hide stuff, but like it's still wrong that she's using. I mean, I think that she's using these gay men to like abuse me. I don't know, that she's using men to abuse me. I don't really care if you're gay or straight or whatever. Like, if she's my wife or if she's the mother of my children and I didn't consent to it, like, she shouldn't be around any other men. Like, her life should be like pretty much be committed to me around me making it up to me, right? But that's not what it is. She's like being used as like a some kind of rape weapon against me, some kind of siege abuse engine, right? I'm not even kidding. Like that's what all this point is. So I'm just trying to point out, like driving around in a Bentley, like on some beautiful California, like you're living the life. Do you really feel like you're living the life? Because you're just acting like a piece of shit, and like this is actively gonna explode in your face and in her face. Like I'm just, I don't understand how you could look at what's already happened and like not realize you have fucked up beyond, like I think it's beyond their capacity to understand how much they fucked up, but that you fucked up and that you're an evil person and that like there are consequences to this, but they may not be immediate, but when they come, they're infinite.
Show me, show me, show me how you do that trick.
Show me, show me, show me how you do that trick.
The one that makes me scream, she said.
The one that makes me scream, she said. I don't know, some kind of sexual trick or something.
The one that makes me laugh, she said.
The one that makes me laugh, she said.
And threw her arms around my neck.
And threw her arms around my neck. Again, it's just really abusive and evil shit. But then, after I looked at it, because he had to get my attention, then he basically it's an advertisement. But my whole point, it's like I think this is because I think Alessandra's the advertisement, and that when she dies as Jezebel, it's like an ad for me. I'm the guy on the throne of Yahweh, most beautiful woman. Like I think she's the most beautiful woman in the world. Whatever, I don't care what you think, but she raped me as a teenager. You know what I mean? Like, had my children, abused me over long term. I still got through it. Like, when I figured out what was going on, I gained the powers of Yahweh God, sitting on the throne of Yahweh, proved out the book of Revelation, and then killed Jezebel. Or, Yahweh killed Jezebel for whatever. That's what I think is going on. So, you can look at whatever things. I think the rings on different fingers symbolize different sexual things. Let's say, so like in the middle finger is fuck you. This might be like a hand, or like, touching hand job or something. This might be anal sex. This might be a blow job. This might be having a kid or something, or supporting your whatever fetishes or whatever. On the other hand, it's like one is giving, one's receiving. In any instance, I don't like that people are trying to make ads or do anything with these women that are actively abusing me. I don't care what your intentions are. I don't care what their intentions are, whether they're good or not. You need to stop. Like, there's going to be, like, legitimately, if someone he really cares about dies sometime soon here, and, like, it's obviously connected to this, then you should feel bad because Yahweh killed them because your abusive behavior towards me. And that's like, I think, quite a few of you. Like, people that are watching this and participating, it's like, you know, you deserve what you get when this is the level of evil and abuse that people have taken it to, right? Like, you get that? I just, whatever. Okay. No, but you don't understand, Matt. We're doing this for your benefit and blah, 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 blah. No, you aren't. Leave me alone. You're abusive, rapist fucking people. That's what I would tell Alessandra if she tried to say anything that was like anything other than I'm sorry, I need to spend my entire life making it up for you. You're like I'm completely dedicated to you. The kids are completely dedicated to you. Like blah 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 blah. But I think my point is like I think probably there's already child porn with some idol of hers or like some man talked her into raping me and then he raped my kids and whatever and it's like something some bullshit like that. Her parents, I don't know, maybe her dad's an evil piece of shit. Like I don't know, but I don't like this, and I just want all these people to fucking die. And like I'm beyond that point. Like I'm trying to prove out very publicly when they die, this is why, and this is the narrative behind it, and this is what's been going on, and this is why like I don't know. I look at the government, and there's like the presidential election. It's already past one on the next day, but everybody voted yesterday. I maybe someone's already president, but I can say this: both sides, both parties, completely let me down. Maybe have even participated. This had to have 2007, 2008, Barack and George Bush. What the fuck? You know what I mean? Like, I don't see how the most powerful person in America couldn't know that this kind of shit is going on. Else are actively participating in it. And it's like, yeah, y'all should fucking die for this. For raping me as a 16, for having a woman rape me as a 16-year-old and then abuse my children and then use my children to abuse me. Yeah, you all deserve to fucking die. So that's why I think everybody who's connected to this is going to fucking die. There needs to be a narrative around it, though. I mean, if they just, like, actually, if they just died and, like, there wasn't like, something that clued people in on what has happened, there like the story would just not be like you know what I mean? Does that make sense? It just wouldn't. It wouldn't make sense. That's what I'm trying to say. Or unlike I wouldn't expect it to. So after I saw this thing of Alessandra kissing this guy, and it's obviously supposed to provoke a reaction to me from me. Then I looked at my like I was just still on Instagram, and all of a sudden Beyonce has posted this, and there's no laws, no limits, no turning back. It's ironic when you're like caught up with the whole Diddy bullshit, and like it's very likely that the FBI has fucking actual like evidence that you've done some evil like child rape bullshit. I'm pretty sure. Like I just get the feeling Beyonce and Jay-Z are into like clearly they're into weird shit with like Marina Abramovich and all that shit. Just artists trying to make a name by making people feel uncomfortable. I don't whatever, but like clearly they're like wrapped up with all these people who are into this evil bullshit. Like, I don't see any reason why like you aren't gonna go down with fucking like all these other people. Like, I don't give a fuck about you here. You don't give a fuck about Houston. Actually, you don't live here. You rarely spend time here, other than like, oh, you came to Shell Energy Stadium to make some kind of like, I'm from here, and I think we in Houston stand for this, and it's like, bitch, you ain't ever here. Get the fuck out of here. You are not like you may be a Houstonian. You abandoned Houston a long time ago. So you know what I mean. It's just like get the fuck out of here with that. Uh, anyway. Oh, Yahtzee. As I'm telling her this is what was going on the other monitor. So Yahtzee. Anyway, and it's like I also want to say she clearly knows that this situation is going on and isn't saying anything. So like, of course I'm gonna be mad at her. She's an evil piece of shit. Like all these celebrities that are participating are fucking atrocious human beings. They just deserve to die. I think after Jezebel dies, you're just gonna start seeing people in high like people that are celebrities just like Yahweh's gonna start killing people. Like, in a way that only God can, so it's not like don't take this as oh Matt's threatening people, but you should feel pretty threatened by God. I mean, actually, I'm not kidding. Did that just say hold on. Oh. I thought that said WH for White House and then Satan. I was like, oh my god, this is just on the nose. Wow. But maybe we're in a duel. I don't know. I usually take screenshots of interesting things that I have tagged. So if you're wondering like what I'm doing there, but we got one more because we're watching. You're watching the what are you watching? The show? Yeah, you're watching the show. Okay. I'm gonna try to be less distracting and just get this video over. So, okay, Beyonce, here's the motorcycle one that I was talking about. Or Pamela Anderson, I mean, is there sex tapes or something with, like, I don't know, you're trying to make a point that you're. Because I think these celebrities are doing shit behind the scenes that, like, when it comes out, like what is going on with Diddy, these people's lives are ruined. And these are people who've gotten used to being billionaires, not like, you know, they threw me in jail. I'm like living out of my grandma's house, and people, I'm used to a difficult situation. These people will not handle jail well. Do you understand that? Like, these people are not. They do everything that they possibly fucking can to be comfortable. They are not going to handle jail well, actually. So, anyway, it does seem like Bay has a whistle. You're gonna be a whistleblower. So her only way out of this is like if she actually doesn't want to spend fucking forever in a prison cell. I mean, but okay, because legitimately think like this is about to crack down on people's heads, and like this is I even think part of the thing with the Diddy thing is that like some of that got caught too much in the show here. You know what I mean? Like they were doing things and then he took a step too far and then okay, congrats, you're dead. Like you've signed. I think the government was allowing him to do whatever for like I think people knew for a long time and he was allowed and then he overstepped and put people in a compromised position and he's in jail and I don't ever see him getting out. So um that's just the reality. So anyway, other people's things got what point am I trying to make with these? I don't know, but I can say this. Like I thought this was an interesting. If we look at this, Maggie Moon, so cute. But look at you see down there it says no daletto, and like I don't know, it could be no D or whatever. But is it like I'm like Yoda and there's a no da and then there's no da leto like Noah is my son and he's no and I'm Yoda, and not, so I'm Yo. Like people call me Yo, and maybe people call him No. And then, I'm Yoda, but I'm also technically, if I'm Noah Ambrosio's father, I'm also technically Noda. But I think that's gonna recoil on whoever's making this evil fucking joke, Maggie Moon. If that's your intention, I mean, I think this is not. I just think all these evil fucking people trying to do evil, like make evil fucking points to me, like do people not get that we're progressing? It is very slow, uncomfortably slow, but we are clearly progressing to a point where you're not going to be able to stop this, and like the punishment is death into infinite burning torture, else prison for sure. But I mean, like death into infinite burning torture. You have been judged by God. You've been judged by like people also, but like the ultimate reality of the universe. You are a piece of shit, and like you're going to burn forever for it, like be tortured. Like hell gets emptied into the place that I'm talking about, because that's how the Bible ends. If you didn't know that, so I don't know. No da Leto is that something about Jared Leto? Is Jared Leto? Because I do think that I've seen on here, right? Like I think if I looked up here, let's even see. Hmm. No, there's a point where I don't know. Well, I'll say like one of the posts that I shared on here around like February or January of 2022 or 2021. There's like a really large volcanic eruption at Hunga Tonga, Ha'apai or whatever you say it, Hunga Tonga, and Hunga Tonga volcano in Tonga. There was a massive, like bigger than a nuclear explosion, bigger than the biggest nuclear explosion ever underwater, and it was probably bigger than that, but it's like you can't tell because you can't measure everything, but it was like maybe the biggest explosion that's ever happened while people have been around on the earth. It just happened to be underwater, which kind of like my thing is that's Yahweh saying like I could blow this whole shit up at any time. But Matt lives here, and I'm not gonna kill him because he actually likes me, and not just me. I'm kind of making a joke, but you get what I'm saying. Like he, people who he likes lives here, so Revelation doesn't just end with the planet blowing up. It ends with like a very progressive kind of like destructive situation. By the end of it, 4 point something billion people are gone. I mean, it says a fourth of humanity at one point, and then a third of humanity. Like so, if you add that together, from the original 100%, you get like a little over half. So it does appear to me like more than half the world's population dies because of during Revelation, and I'm gonna suggest it's because of whatever the evil fucking situation is here that seems to like again the government here in America and other governments appear to know about this and be participating in the like rape, torture, abuse of Matthew Ray Wilkins because they don't like that I'm a Christian or that I match the guy at the end of the book. But then them doing that makes me look more like the guy at the end of the book because it's just manifesting the guy from the end of the book, and it's happening to manifest it as me because that's how it's set up, I think. And so like they just keep taking wrong action over and over in ways that are like you're not going to be the government after like what I mean. There's a reason governors and military generals and the wealthy people of all over run to the fucking mountains and scream to the mountains fall on us because it's the day of Yahweh's anger and who can bear it. Like it's not good for anybody. So you know I mean, actually, I think the only person that's going to be laughing and happy on the day of Yahweh is me. Is going to be my day. Me and those with me. I mean, I would assume. So I don't know. Is this some kind of like point about Jared Leto? I mean, he does have some kind of cult. Is some kind of like personality cult attacked me in some kind of fucking evil, reprehensible ways? And like, I don't know, a guy with a bunch of women like willing to do super abusive stuff. I mean, it could be. I don't know. These women seem to be hyper abusive, and if like he's like they seem to have been set loose on me, and it's like I think the point of the Bible is like I'm gonna kill her in front of. I mean, sorry, I mean, by this, take it as metaphorical, like hyperbolic behavior, and then me kind of like placing myself in this position of this of like it's my intent, it's my like you're evil, you're abusing me, you need to die, but it's Yahweh's action, right? That's where this is like, I mean, if it's happening, it's God, right? I'm not going to go out and touch or do anything to anybody, but I believe Yahweh can and will strike anybody, anywhere, at any time, any way, anyhow. So, is it some like that? I mean, is it more of these like celebrities having children in secret and using them? They think they got like secret weapons, but in reality, you're just abusing the children. You're abusing me. You're abusing whatever. People need to fucking die over this. Like this needs to end, and like the only thing that's gonna end it. It's the same way that I feel about like mass shootings and like stuff like that. There needs to be a punishment for these people who are like 100% already willing to die, right? The way you stop mass shootings, or at least the way you can, like, it doesn't make any sense now that like if someone is suicidal, they want to go out and kill a bunch of people to make some kind of point or to hurt the hive or whatever. If they go out and do that, the worst punishment that they get is a death probably lighter than they could do to themselves. So like they get off easier than they, like if I'm a suicidal person, I'm going to do this. They're going to get off easier than they already otherwise would have if they had just killed themselves. So you're like you're providing them an out essentially by saying you're going to kill them. My solution to that is throw them in a volcano. Like make it shouldn't be humane the way you kill someone who's going to kill like a bunch of people. You kill 20 people. Do you think they deserve a humane death? I think you're being inhumane to society because it creates more of those people who go out and do that kind of thing. If there's not a strong enough punishment, this is only one aspect of it, but I damn sure think the fact that there's not really a punishment worse than they would already do to themselves is like, so if you got a bunch of suicidal people trying to like hurt me, it needs to be evil and eternal. And like, I'll say this, if I'm the smartest man ever, or if I'm Yahweh, right, I would come up with something and make goddamn sure that happens. And I think that's the idea of this second death. It is designed for people who are angels, messengers. That's what an angel is, a messenger of Satan, the adversary. So something adversarial that is like willing to die to take over the world. There needs to be something that even scares them, and that's the second death. Nothing wants to be thrown into a burning lake and tortured forever, not even Satan. So, my whole point with like school shooters is like, well, you should try to get them alive, especially if there's video evidence, they did it. Don't even fuck with the justice system. I mean, have like a judge, have like a special judge for like that kind of behavior. And okay, we can clearly see the evidence. We're not even gonna fuck with this. You're going to the burning lake. We're gonna toss you into the volcano, and you're like, or we're gonna slowly lower you into the volcano, and you're just gonna melt like the T-800 or T-1000 or both of them. I guess at the end of Terminator. You know what I mean? Like kill Satan, kill a Terminator, kill whatever. So toss him in a burning lake. Anyway, I don't know if I just maybe I'm reading too much into the no da leto thing, but I mean, is it just like someone with a cult of personality? Is Noah? Is the idea Noah Ambrosio? Someone with a personality cult like Jared Leto? Like talk some woman into raping me and then like rape my children? Like that's what I've suggested. I'm just saying, is Maggie Moon suggesting that's Jared Leto or no? Does she have a kid with Jared Leto or I don't know. I don't hate Jared Leto. I don't hate Jared Leto Joker, but at the same time, I'm one of very few people who don't hate Jared Leto Joker. Actually, but at the same time, I do hate that people are like abusing me with things that I like I don't know, comic book shit and whatever. So that's why I would create the whole bat brand thing where I brand you and then you get thrown into a burning lake. You get branded. Oh, I'll say this. Someone's getting branded with getting brands, and everybody who takes the brand is getting thrown into a burning lake. I mean, it sounds a lot like, it sounds a little backwards, but that's how Revelation reads. If you take the brand, you will go into the burning lake. Okay. Then we got Cara del Toro. Mostly, I mean, I don't know. She's from Houston here. I think she's really hot. I love her body, but and I would love, if I'm being like, it's that same thing. I guess maybe I'm. It's the same way where like with Alessandra Ambrosio, I was like, oh, yeah, I'd love to have children with Alessandra Ambrosio. And it's like, oh, I do have children with Alessandra Ambrosio. They're all abusive to me. They hate me. They treat me wrong. It's like, oh. So like, would I? I kind of want to be like, oh, she's so hot. Like, do I want to breed her and have kids with her and stuff like that? And it's like, well, maybe, but at the same time, like looking at what's already happened, I don't know if I want to do anything with anybody ever again. Maybe that's the point of Alessandra doing this, but anyway. So I think she's really hot, and like, you know, I do think that she's participating in this to a degree, and she's making points. Like, she's literally wearing the trench coat. She's in the trenches. You know what I'm saying? And look, so like before I even went into her story, I'm like, hey, look, it looks like it says Matt is like Matis, and then Se is kind of covered by the thing. So I'm just looking at Matt is, and then I get Matt from that, or is T Matt. Well, there is a Matt with one T, and he is a T, and that's Maya, right? But Matt with two T's, it's me. And so, anyway, Matt is, or maybe is that about Beyonce's dad, Matthew Knowles? I mean, I do find it interesting that we share the same name pretty much, but I mean, it just feels like she's trying to say something. And then it turns out she says, I'm hiding a secret in this photo. Like, a lot of my point is that photos like this is like women trying to, or people trying to get over a point, but they're hiding something that they're trying to communicate because it's plausibly deniable, but they're definitely trying to communicate it. And at a certain point, a bunch of people using that method to try to communicate to me over time in a pattern, it is no longer plausibly deniable. And there's enough evidence that, like, hey, a bunch of people are harassing and abusing me while I'm going through the most evil fucking situation that's literally the end of the Bible evil level of like it's why I think things end like it does in the Bible. But okay, in any instance, I'm hiding a secret. Well, hold on. I'm hiding a secret in this photo. Well, when I zoomed in on that and took the picture, it says les. Are you lesbian? I mean, I kind of guessed that, but you know, I mean, I think Alessandra Ambrosio is lesbian. I don't actually think that seems to mean anything because she's still using men to abuse me and like as my kid and like abusing me for no fucking reason and all this kind of shit. I don't understand it. I like, whatever. I mean, like, I've already. It's not whatever, but I've already said my thoughts on this like over and over. So, is it? I don't know. It's in French. I mean, I have a French friend. Like trying to like this is the kind of thing when I look at this I'm like what kind of point are these women trying to say? It's like I look at it, I see French. It's like, well, my best friend growing up is French, and like is this trying to make some kind of point to me? Are you sleeping with my best friend? I mean, like I think a lot of women are trying to make points that they're sleeping with all sorts of people, including like whoever they can say that they're or imply in order to make me feel uncomfortable. But like I don't know. So I'm just trying to make I'm explaining my thought process. Is that what I think this is? I don't know, but it could be. That's why it's just a bunch of probabilities, and everything that I see is always just a bunch of probabilities. Um, Another thing is like, well, she's hiding something in this. Uh, well, there's a table, some stuff on the table, and a rug, and behind her head is a rug. Are you a rug? Are you a rug pull? I mean, like you're pretending to be something friendly and like on my side and like something I might invest time in, and then nope, I already have kids. Blah blah blah. Like this was all designed to make you think something and then abuse with it. I don't know. Just like let me just look at what has already happened in my reality and make some kind of point. So that's the story in pictures for this point up to that point, and I've already shown these before, but you got I still believe that, and then this one I'm manifesting. I have a kind of a negative like you need to die like Jezebel needs to die kind of manifestation, and then I have a positive and good affirmation, which is like kind of a positive manifestation, so like, hitting both sides of it. But I am manifesting. I am victorious, conquering, overcoming at the seven churches of Asia from Revelation 2 and 3. Then you got the Alpha and the Omega. Okay. I am manifesting good health and slash fortune and the best things for my family and I. And does that my family and I, does that include Alessandra Ambrosio? I mean, I think it's supposed to, but she doesn't. She doesn't treat me like I'm family. She treats me like some kind of like thing to abuse. So, I mean, actually, I don't understand how this is still going on. I don't understand how people don't publicly call her out. I don't understand how like she's she doesn't just kill herself. Like I don't understand how you could be so evil to do this to me for no reason or whatever. But I think Yahweh's gonna kill her, so I'm not gonna. I think Yahweh's gonna kill Jezebel, and I think she's Jezebel. So I think Yahweh's gonna kill her. So I'm not. I'm not gonna stress too much about that. But I am manifesting power. I am manifesting love. I am manifesting a wife, wives, girlfriends, a harem that truly loves me, supports me, helps me, treats me right, and that let me own them and do everything I want sexually to slash with them, and that all love each other and love being a big happy family together. I want that. It would make up for what I'm going through. I mean, it would kind of make up for it, but I think the other part is Yahweh's going to give me his power to some degree, or his throne. Jesus gives me his throne, so like that does make up for it. I mean, I get to be on the throne of Jesus with Jesus, have the power of Jesus and Yahweh, and I think that also means the 144,000 virgins on Mount Zion. I get to share that with Jesus. So, um, and like real Israel, I mean, or like, I mean, real Israel is the Israel from the Bible, but modern Israel, like, did the state do something as a part of this with like either Alessandra or Fernanda Mota or I don't know, or Line or Gal Gadot, like trying to who or like I don't know Maya Vander or whatever, some other Israeli Anya Martirosov. Just name whatever Israeli woman that might be on my Instagram that I've looked at that it could be like Noibelorian, one of the Israeli, like someone. Did they use someone in this capacity? Did they do something evil to attack me? Netan Yahoo. Anyway, yeah. Who? Okay, so there's also like this one where this is exactly from when I posted this. I reposted things from 2,520 days ago. I brought that kind of concept up, but this was the post from 2,520 days ago. It was, I posted this screenshot from Cindy Crawford's thing. It says Kaya and I out bowling with, and then I think for special, I think she's hanging out with special needs kids or something. Um, but I just thought it was crazy because I think I looked at this and like screenshotted in my older story and pictures that is not as thorough as this one currently. And then that same like almost immediately I played a Counter Strike game and there was someone in the lobby called You Do You. And so like I played a game and I noticed that it said You Do You on this person's shirt. It also says best buddies. And then and then I start playing Counter Strike, right? And like here I like You Do You. You know what I mean? It's like who I uh it's like someone I'm playing against, right? So I thought that was funny. It almost seems like, there is a thing that there is a reality that is all connected, that is real, that is, going on and like, most people just aren't paying attention enough. And then if they are, you got to pay attention for a long time, and then even so on and so forth, and this and that and the other. Anyway, so you do you, and then I just thought it was funny that it's like, okay, you do you. Um, Anything else here? I figured the list the last portion we could literally just go look up at. It's just more of the same, honestly. Oh, I did ask, like, is Maddie here from Maddie's World? Is that Liam Payne's daughter? I mean, she looks like Liam Payne, but anyway, whatever. Um, And then, hey, look, it's my daughter. She's pointing at this. It says Maddie to my Cassian. So, I'd ask because exactly 5 months before that I had made this post about Maddie's life, and that's why I thought it was interesting because there seems to be this thing like if I go exactly 5 months back in my thing here, like there seems to be a connection on the exact 5 months. At the same time, there's a connection that like I've noticed like strong connections. 5 months, 1,260 days, 2,520 days. I've noticed very strong connections repeatedly with those numbers. So, you know, those are also numbers that you directly find in Revelation. 5 month period of like, multiple things are a 5 month period, but that's the fifth church last or fifth church, fifth trumpet, fifth church, fifth trumpet, fifth seal, fifth plague seems to be a period of 5 months. The whole 1,260 day thing, and then if you double 1,260 days, it's 2,520, which is 7 years. So, hey, look, it's my daughter. I mean, it's still like a weird thing to get over. I mean, I'd have to like, did she know I was her dad? Do you know I'm your dad? Like, I mean, it looks to me like you're aware now, but did you know the whole time? Like, I just had to, whatever was going on was either spirit guiding me or just intuition or subconscious. But like, it turns out, oh, you're my daughter. That's why I was. Okay, well that makes more sense. Well, you do look like me. I mean, a lot like me. I'm not looking down at the camera, so it's not exactly the same angle. But I mean, she looks a lot like me. Like she's got like the nose kind of has the same shape there at the end. Like not every nose, like the girl that's next to her, doesn't have the same thing. Is she my daughter too? Honestly, kind of. This has made me like question like every kid that I look at. I'm like, oh my god, is that my kid secretly? But I don't like. I said a bunch of kids earlier. Actually, I said 5 different kids, but it's mostly all connected to the same people group: Alessandra, Line, and Fernanda. But I do think there. I don't think that's it. I think I've been bred more without like. Did you like? Are some of these women that have had kids recently? I mean, did you breed me with Haley Bieber? I mean, like, is that actually my kid secretly? What, Jack Bieber or like what speaking of Jared Leto Joker, didn't Margot Robbie just have a kid? I mean, would it literally make me the Joker if somehow all of a sudden Margot Robbie's kid was actually my kid? Then I'm like, look, it wasn't a joke. I'm serious. These people are fucking, doing evil shit to me and like making points and like, how the fuck do I fight this? Like, other than what I'm doing, how do I fight this other than what I'm doing that doesn't land me in jail? That's the key thing. So let me give you a stink face like my daughter. It is weird saying my daughter too, but I mean I'm pretty sure she's my daughter. My daughter's pretty hot too, so congrats, go me. I don't feel bad about it at all. My daughter's hot. This is the face that I make when I say that my daughter's hot. But I mean, it's already a fucked up enough situation. I'm not lying. I mean, but she's also kind of like a Neanderthal dog because she's, uh, you know, got my looks. So she's got her mom's the hottest elf queen looks, but then mixed with me, she's just like kind of looks like a very sexy little Neanderthal dog. She's my dogter. I love my dogter. This is a dog mixed with a daughter. It's a dogter, and I'm just kind of messing around. I mean, like I'd like to have a fun relationship with my kids, but like, I mean, this is kind of fun, but I mean a real fun relationship where I actually know my kids, meet my kids, hug and kiss my kids. Like, I really want to hold my kids and tell them how much I love them. I mean, I'm not even kidding. Like that. Like I So anyway, that's like I shouldn't need to explain why I want to do that either. I shouldn't need to. Like I've grown up in a very loving and affectionate family. Like I hug and kiss my parents still all the time. Like I live with my parents. Some of it's because people keep stealing from me, and somehow that guys the government keeps allowing it, even though they're watching. It's also pretty fucked up and wrong. But okay. It's not worse than kind of already the other things that they've allowed to happen to me and maybe participated in. So, I mean, I think it's the same thing that I'm talking about with Israel. Like, the government participated, they get caught doing this. It's so evil. Like, I think I'm the government at that point. So, maybe that's why it says, oh, and the government rests on his shoulders. It's talking about Jesus, but did the government ever rest on Jesus' shoulders? No. Why do you think, what do you think Jesus represents? I think the whole point is that I'm gonna be the dude on the throne with all the authority of Jesus because it does everything rests on his shoulders if he can blow the whole fucking world up. So just you know, he can earthquake, volcano, whatever, anything into non-existence. It's like a big enough volcanic explosion send the world back to an unpleasant place. Um, a big enough earthquake and it matches the Bible and we go forward. How does that sound? We go forward to a place where nobody dies anymore. Okay, and then here's Bella Hadid because she posted this thing, 7 years ago or 2,520 days ago, and then I said it was a lizard. But anyway, this and more of the Death Stranding stuff where it looks like, it's like, is this to undermine America, the United Cities of America? It does kind of feel like that in actuality, where it doesn't feel like there's a real federal government. It just feels like a bunch of cities like fighting each other and like I don't know, like a fight club type thing, and like I'm the representative for Houston, though there's another person here who's trying to take that from me, and it's the reason Houston sucks at sports these days. Or like we've kind of gotten better because I'm kind of getting back on my shit, but it's like, there's a reason when I was a lot younger and basically Superman that the Rockets won, and is that it? Something like that. I do kind of feel like the avatar for Houston sports, but okay. Anyway, all right, all right. Well, that's enough of my Neanderdog, whatever. That's enough of Anja, and it is just kind of weird. Like, it's enough of my daughter. It's my daughter. What the fuck? I like, you know what I mean? Like, to give you, for example, she is the age that I was when they did this to me. Like when Alessandra raped me originally, that's how old she is. You know what I mean? It's also why I'm like, they're probably doing it to the. If they didn't give a fuck about me as a kid, they didn't give a fuck about. I don't give a fuck about my kids for sure. In fact, that's the whole point is to like raise kids that I don't know. I don't think Anja actually likes me or treats me well. I mean, I want to sit here and like show you that like it does hurt me, but like I'm not. There's no it hurts me. It doesn't feel good. Same thing with Noah, and like I'm not 100% positive they're my kids. I just believe they are. I mean, I can't. To be positive, I'd literally have to DNA test them, which has been my point. Also, it's like I do think there's enough. At a certain point, there should be enough evidence to force something. You know what I mean? Especially if someone dies, like if a Jezebel character does die, or I like 100% believe something is going to force the situation. I mean, I'm still doing lightning stuff. Like you know what I mean? Like, there's no. If I had pulled lightning from the sky, like I talked about in numerous lightning lab videos, if I had overtly done that when I was saying like, well, why can't this happen? Next week or next lightning lab or something. I wouldn't be so aware of this situation that I actually find myself in. So some of this does feel like that thing from the Bible where it talks about like pull the plank out of your own eye before you try to like take something out of your brother's eye or whatever. I'm trying to take something out of my eye. I think the thing in my eye is Alessandra Ambrosio and whatever this evil situation is. I think it's the thing that's in my arm, and my whole right side is like crippled because of it. Like, and it is crippled internally, so it doesn't look like it, but it fucking hurts more than getting hit by a car all the time. And then like it's just uncomfortable because like it's almost dislocated, and I can't relocate it. And like, does that have to do with I can't relocate my family to me because whatever? I mean, it does feel like that. That is even the thing where it says it's a form of execution, but it also talks about alienation. And so the strike on the thigh thing from Genesis 32, that I've talked about, that seems to be associated with not just Proverbs 12:4, but also Revelation 19:15 and 16, or 15 or 16, where it talks about on the thigh, the Meros is written King of Kings, Lord of Lords, because it's something you can see on the webcam. I can point down to my toe. You can see that my right foot is kind of fucked, and like I promise you, it is connected to whatever is crippling the right side of my body. Like it is up from the heel of my foot to the crown of my head. Everything on the right side is like something's like trying to close it and clamp it and shut it and kill it. And like, I think the idea is if I'm gonna sit on the throne of Jesus, guess who is at the right hand of the one on the throne of Jesus? Jesus. Or, Old Testament logic, Yahweh. So who sits at the right hand of the Son of Man who is appointed? Well, Yahweh. You know what I mean? Like Yahweh is at David's right hand, right? So the Lord said to my Lord, sit at my right hand, and I'll make your enemies a footstool. So, like, I mean, I guess maybe it's the point I'm sitting at Yahweh's right hand, Yahweh's sitting at my right hand, or Jesus sitting at my right hand, I'm sitting at Jesus' right hand, that kind of thing, if I'm on the throne of Jesus. And in any instance, the 7 stars sit in the right hand. This is all stuff from Revelation and the 7 churches of Asia. And Revelation basically 1 through 3, and maybe some stuff from 4 and 5. But before the events of Revelation really kick off, it's the stuff like where we are now. Where we are now is Revelation 2 and 3. Anything later than that hasn't happened yet. Anything earlier than that has already happened. We are at Revelation 2 and 3. Don't let anybody fool you otherwise or tell you otherwise. It even says in Thessalonians, I think, don't let anybody convince you the great day of Yahweh has come. This has to happen. The great falling away and blah, blah, blah. I think the great, whatever the secret fucking show is that these people are participating in, that's going to be brought out into the open, the Nicolaitans are participating in, whatever this thing is, it's going to be brought out into the open, and then it's the beast system versus me, essentially. And it's already lost. I mean, if it was called 2,000 years ago, how the fuck do you think you have a chance? Other than stupidity. You don't. You have zero chance. I literally, it's hard for me to believe that you would even try. Other than, I know people are stupid to their own detriment to the point of death. Constantly. So, I 100% believe that people can be like that. Also, I can see that people are supporting just evil bullshit now. Like, so it's like, I 100% believe the whole stuff that happens for the 1260 days in Revelation. But okay, I guess this last part here is every day, like when I'm done with my day, basically what I do is I go sit at the window and like I say my prayers for the night. I go I go through my Instagram for like the stories for the day. I kind of like look at certain people, Alessandra Ambrosio and some of the other people, my favorites list or whatever, but anybody that I'm following. And I'm also starting to remove some of the people I'm following. I already know, like, dude, if like I got kids with a super famous model, and like I don't need to be like, I don't all these people pretending that I'm not, like, you know what I mean? Like that is like the thing that like stinks this all, is like the kids actually being mine and existing. It's like, okay, like there's no way that there's not a game being played around me, and that there's not some evil fucking like literal Truman Show type nerve thing, and that this is pretty much the thing from Thessalonians, where there's some kind of rebellion in secret that has struck me in secret, and that when it gets brought out in the open, the only way it can survive is by literally being the beast system from Revelation. Like, so, I think that's kind of where we are. That's what I'm saying. I think we're in Revelation at chapters 2 and 3 in Revelation, and that the Churches of Asia thing is actively happening, has happened, and is happening now. Like, there are parts of it that have already happened. There are parts happening right now. And when it finishes, the rest of Revelation 100% is either kicking off or is kicked off or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, there is absolutely a connection, and like that is absolutely where we are. But okay, so I sit at the thing, I say my prayers, I go over Instagram, look at everybody's things, I do my workout, and then I add to the story and pictures. So I figured what we could do here now is, because I just looked at yesterday's but I haven't looked at today's, why don't we just look at today's thing? And I'm gonna be looking at it in like when I end this, and like not that long anyway, so might as well just like pull it up on thing. I get on the recording. You can see me react to it, or whatever. You kind of get a taste from like you have this whole thing, and like hypothetically, Alessandra has posted more pictures with this guy to like make a point to me. Now you understand, like, this is what I'm saying. I can call it ahead of time to where this is what's going on. By the way, I also wanted to point out, I kind of figured a while ago that this was going to be the next Rich Lee character, or like essentially guy that Alessandra is either cheating with or acting like she's cheating with. But in any instance, she's like, by not being here, you're already cheating. Like you're like you're with but all these people here. You might as well be committing adultery with them. If your children are my children, which they appear to be my biological children, you're just cheating with them. So, I figured. So if you go actually back a little further, when I saw this one, first of all, I thought it was interesting. She keeps using this hexagon 1989 filter by Don Diablo. I mean, that's one of the I very specifically there's a few labels like on Beatport that I follow in the genres that I DJ. Hexagon, Hexhibition, Hex Generation Hex. Like I find a lot of the music that those labels create is good. I like Don Diablo's music as well. So like whatever. I think this is it's just like this is a subtle message to me. Like that's all she's trying to make some kind of shitty point to me. So I'm just like by continually using that filter that like she's the only one that I can see that of all the people that I'm watching that's using that filter. But I'm looking at quite a few people. I mean, she's the only one that's like consistently using it. I also was wondering, is this the daughter of a girl that I know? I mean, I don't know, but she just kind of looks familiar. I mean, is she my daughter? Maybe. It's not impossible. I mean, people keep doing this, and I really wish I could hang out with my daughter Andrea Ambrosio. I dogged her. She looks so fun. Such a cute little dog. No, I think the dog thing is kind of tongue in cheek. I just like it is kind of fun, but I mean, is she really my daughter? And she like, does she hate me? It's like how do you guys how do Audra and Noah hate me for being raped? You know what I mean? Like I didn't do this. I and I want them like even that I'm like looking at them and I'm like if they're actually my kids, I like I don't want to be a bad dad, and I'm like a loving person. As much as I come off as like angry a lot of the time, I like I it's just it's so wrong and difficult. Like I mean, they're like how is Alessandra so fucking evil that she like literally raped me and then raised my kids to hate me? I mean, it's bringing the like almost want to cry thing to my eyes, but like I don't think it's gonna get all the way there, but like it doesn't feel good. It feels so bad, and like it's not what is that gonna beat me? Has that beat me? Because it doesn't look like it's beat me. It looks like I've gained the powers of Yahweh. I mean, or like I'm slowly gaining the powers of Yahweh, and you're slowly being killed as Jezebel, and I will once you die have all the power of Yahweh, or at least I think that's the idea. Is when Jezebel dies, I get the iron rod. That's a big stick to bonk people over the heads with. I mean, that's just what it is. Or a big system of things that shoot down other things, like an iron dome of some sort. Or maybe I get to be Iron Man. In any instance, whatever. Iron something. Sharpens iron, whatever. But, you know. And then, like, some of the other things that's being suggested, like, I just had that moment, like, where I'm like, it's hard, it's difficult. Like, I'm pretty sure that's my daughter, man. And, like, they're being kept from me and like raised to abuse me, and like I still have this like inclination, like I want to love her, and I want to love Noah, and I want to love Liam, and I want to love Dylan, and I want to love Chloe, and I want to love anybody that is actually my kid. I like I love them. I mean, I don't. I'm not just saying I want to love them. Like there's already love, but like yeah, there's a part of me that I like have to, and I think this is what they're trying to do. I have to kill like a part of me that's loving in order to get through this because like it's like swallowing a poison, and I can't. I think I'm connected to my parents, and like I think the whole point of this is they're trying to kill my parents, and like I you know when my dad had his malaria, like I don't think it was a malaria thing. I think he got spiritually attacked earlier on in the year, and it just the symptoms were manifest kind of like his malaria. But I think spiritual attacks can like manifest as diseases that you already have. I think the disease is coming from something relating to some kind of spiritual ailment, actually, a lot of the time. But especially in this instance, because I told him beforehand that it had just happened to me, and I don't have malaria, and then it happened to him that night, and I mean, it was like he was like peeing blood, and like it was not good. I actively think that these people are trying to kill me and my parents. Like that. So that's why I'm like I'm not fucking around with Alessandra Ambrosio. Once that happened, I came to the conclusion that like this is actually life and death. And like I don't plan on being the one to die. I don't want to die. I'm not planning on being the one to die. So I don't plan on dying at all, actually. I plan on being on the throne in the kingdom of heaven and like seeing the kingdom of heaven brought into manifest reality. It is at hand. I think that's the whole point. And like, if I'm the guy conquering at the seven churches of Asia, I absolutely think that's the point. So I went back here, and here she's going to do some music thing. And like one of the things that I even noticed with this, like first of all, this Buck Palmer guy had shared it in, right? But that, and so I figured, and then he's surrounded by like a gaggle of women, and so like and he's pointing in the same way, kind of that like she was pointing at her throat, and like mm, I just at the time I was like, I think something's trying to be communicated, and like it almost looks like he's even pointing his thumb, like he's doing the thing, but it's you can't even see his pinky. It's more looks like he's pointing like that. So, uh, I just felt like they're trying to make a point of. I can also see like visually what might be trying to be told here, but like I don't care. Like I'm not trying to take points from people anymore. Like I don't. Whatever you're trying to communicate with me, like why am I listening to a rapist? You know what I mean? Like that's actually how I feel. I didn't rape anybody. She raped me. Like even if I like her, like if whatever, there's no excuse for like forcing me when I'm not ready to have kids that like you don't let me see anyway, and like abusing me with those kids. Like I can't just keep going over it and like different like using different things to describe it, but like I mean I guess I could. I've already done that, but I don't it's not like it's really adding much to it. But anyway, so I figured something was going on in September. And like like I'm saying, I think she's trying to like the hope is that I look at it and I'm like hopeful in this way that I've described where it's like I'm grasping, you know what I mean? But I like I just you're a rapist, dude. I don't want anything to fucking do with you. I want you and your family fucking dead. Like that's how I feel at this point. You're hurting me. You're hurting my family. You're trying to kill my family. There's no like you're trying to kill my family by raping me and becoming a part of my family, I guess, or like bringing me into yours, but then not treating me right and like whatever. I again, I to say this over and over and over again. I guess there are multiple facets of it that like you know you look at it in a way like oh well you get to have I don't know you can look at it in different ways, but it's just not okay, and like I've demanded that she make up for it, and she hasn't. I've like demand you gotta repent. Like this is not okay. This is untenable and it's wrong. And you're just fucking evil. Like what kind of world do you create for Anja and Noah if this is like where you're like a shitty one? That's the kind of world where your son can be raped and abused in the same way that you've done to me. I mean, like, actually. But I don't think she gives a fuck about the kids. Recently I haven't seen her in a goddamn picture with the kids because she's like, in reality they're just a thing that she's used. They're like pawns in her game of abuse towards me. That's the like. I think that's almost the most ironic part. It's like to me, Anja and Noah would be like my world, right? I mean, they're my kids. With someone I think I like, I thought I would like, whatever. But in any instance, they're my kids. Like I want to, and I'm not just them. Anja, Noah, Leah. Like I don't know. Do I have a whole school of kids? A whole pride of lions there. A whole gaggle of geese. Do I got like do I gotta like how many kids? But in any instance, I'll bring my kids. Like, like, I'm not. It feels like I want and want to love them more, but it's also like I've never even gotten to fucking talk to them. Like literally, they like uh I tried to follow Noah Mazur on. I say Noah Mazur. That's the account name or whatever. Now it's like Noah Mazur Too Fast, which makes me think it's like something to do with Sama and Hayakadra or whatever. Because I made that Simi Hayes 2.0 mix, and it was, it's aimed at these like rapist Palestinians who are trying to make evil fucking points on that side, and then I got fucking Israel doing evil, going to evil levels to fucking protect themselves. So I'm railroaded between both sides of stupidity of like, oh, if you listen to what I was saying, Israel, probably the whole thing that I was saying 7 years ago on video on my other channel of like, yeah, you could use the name Yahweh and like they don't got any. There's no like if the whole state of Israel is like actually using their power to like bring kind of point to like, yo, these Arabs built a knockoff deities monument on our fucking temple, and like, we follow Yahweh. That's why we're the Yahudim. They are taught in their Muslim stuff to go kill Yahudim because it's a knockoff god that wants to like that's satanic against Yahweh actually, and like they're taught to abuse Jews and stuff like that from the Quran, which they are. I mean, stuff like that, might prevent something like October 7th. If you actually like, right now it like there's it just anyway their arguments and stuff are not very good for whatever, and like it is really one of those things. Like I was saying this like 7 years ago, and for sure on video and on the YoTV channel, and like so anyway, and then the Palestinians, it's like, well, you probably could have a state if you just stop trying to destroy the state of Israel. I mean, like, you know, Israel started a state in 1948. The Arabs that want to be called Palestinians didn't. All the other places around them did. That's why there's a Jordan and a Syria and a fucking, Egypt and whatever. I mean, I guess Jordan and Syria, but like, um, and Lebanon and like these other countries, they put being a people and a state, they put being a state and a nation above keeping Israel from being a state and a nation. Whereas the Palestinians, the Philistines, the Arabs that are just pretending they're Philistines, they didn't. They just wanted to destroy Israel. So uh, they didn't create a state in 1948. They didn't start a state. They started a war. They lost that war. Every opportunity where they've been given, like, hey, we'll give you, no, and it's because they don't want a state. Well, they would happily take a state, but they more want the destruction of Israel because they're taught in their Quran that like when they fight against the Jews until the last day, that's when the last day comes. So like that's I'm talking about like Jezebel is the last day. Like I think this proves out this thing from Revelation and like that this is going on and blah blah blah. Whereas like their thing is like, no, we got to go kill all the Jews, and then that's when the day of Revelation comes in the Quran and the Hadith. And when the rocks and trees are screaming and hey, there's a juke behind us, come and kill him. It's like, so I'm looking at both sides of Israel Palestine. Like, like I believe in Yahweh, and like I don't know if any of this is what Yahweh actually is about, but you know, reasonably, Israel exists. It has more reason to exist. It has more, I think, right to exist at this point. So there you go. That's what it is. Um, so let's look at my story, my Instagram. So I haven't checked it today. Last time I checked it was last night. We'll see what's going on. Hey, it's election day. As if I didn't know that. We'll go to my following. Usually I just go through. Was that Beyonce? Hey, Ya Ya. Remember when Beyonce did that song Ya Ya? You think it was about Yahya Sinwar? I mean, he's dead, so maybe it was about Yahya, Yah is in the God of the Bible or something. Or like that guy in Houston that people know as Yah. Because isn't Houston Yah? Like you fly into IAH, which is Yah, and that's actually part of what I think this seems to be is that, yeah, anyway. Um, hey, teach our kids critical thinking. I'd like to teach my kids anything, but people have like stolen my kids from me and are like abusing me with them. It would be nice if my neighbors, who I'm pretty sure are aware of all this, like actually spoke up about it. But I don't think, I think all these people around me are fucking evil. I think everybody seems to be super fucking evil and just puts on like a face. I also want to say I've brought up like the news here knows. Like I know Kim Castro is participating and like Pat Kavlin and like different people in the news. Like I can see them actively participating, but like making points to me in in certain things. But um whether good or bad, I don't want to see anybody's points unless the point is, hey, I have this issue that is so reprehensible. If you know about it and you aren't speaking, you're a rapist yourself. That's why I've been saying like this. And then all of a sudden, seemingly today, Chauncey Glover, so, someone who's been like a news person, I said a few videos back, news people here in Houston are going to start dying. News people all around because they're actively lying and covering up this situation. So, I'm just manifesting. Like, Yahweh, just start striking news people. It's not that I enjoy the news. I've been raped and you're hiding it. You're like, you aren't journalists. You're like literally paid actors being used to like, I don't know, lock me in an abuse box. That's how it feels. So, and until actively news people start saying stuff like, the news, which is going on, uh, like this news, like, hey, Matthew Ray Wilkins is being attacked and abused, has been wronged in a way that is reprehensible and needs to be fixed. Yeah, just like fuck all of you. I mean, that's how I feel. So if you have a problem with me saying fuck all of you, and you like argue with me, why should I give a fuck about any of y'all when you know about it, especially if you know about it, and then uh, you aren't saying anything? Yeah, fuck you. I mean, that's how I feel. So is it right or wrong? I need this to end. I've been raped and you're still abusing me, and like I think the news is participating. So like anyway, I think Yoon Ambush is participating. I've already brought that up. I think she's participating, but like I'm saying, I think everybody's participating. It's just the level that people are participating at. It's like Alessandra's participating at the level where she literally raped me and had my children and is like holding them hostage. Blossom here, is she at that level? Not that I mean, I don't know. Does she have children that I don't know about? And like, is hiding? Probably not. But you I like her pink hair a lot. I mean, it's a real, like some of the best pink hair that I've seen on anybody. So congrats. Um, it's like you got nostalgics with the the orange hair and Blossom with the pink hair. I even made a post about that in my story and pictures. I guess you'll have to see that post in my story and pictures when you see it. Stuff about people like soccer people that I'm following, or soccer, U.S. men's national team, people that I played soccer with, famous soccer players, female soccer player, Anna Markovic. I'm pretty sure she's participating. Is that like, uh, it's like Ann Ja, right? But then it says Ann Qual, like DJ Qual. I mean, Ann Qual. I don't know. Yeah, Ann Qual. On Qual. U.S. women's national team. Girls Gone Bible. I don't know. I mean, is this another thing where I'm the avatar for Houston sports, and so people think there's like, well, let's create fake, like a fake Christian thing to see if we can, like, I don't know, fuck with them some more. I don't know. I don't believe they're Christians either. I mean, actually, like all this kind of theatrics is like, if I'm the guy on the throne and I've actively reached out to you and I know people are watching, you're just liars and hypocrites. Like, like, do you really think that, like, like, if I see through the bullshit, you don't think Yahweh, God, like the spirit that created everything, the actual God of the universe, you don't think he sees through it? Like, I think that this is a bad attempt. Y'all think God doesn't see it, and that he, like, it just, uh, like, I'm pretty sure they're lesbians, but you know, um, my point is, like, reasonably, if I'm like on the throne of Jesus, I think I'm your king actively is what that would make it if you're actually a Christian, and that you're actively supposed to be following me. And when I say speak up, you're actively supposed to speak up. Like, you're supposed to be in my harem or something. I've suggested it, but it does seem like, well, you maybe you don't have to do that part. I'm not going to force you to do that, but you actively, if you are a Christian and you don't speak out into my reality to fix this situation where these people have raped me and are like making a point to like abuse me with my kids or whatever, you aren't a Christian? Fuck you. I mean, like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't consider you a Christian. I think Yahweh's going to kill you for participating. Like, I think you are actively participating. So, like, there is a bit of like, if I saw a woman getting raped, I'm not gonna let her get raped. You know what I mean? But like all these women who like are participating in this, fuck you. I mean, I just like, so what is it? Are you a fake Christian? And like, it's going to be one of those where they're actually lesbians, but they find two guys that seem like whatever, and they have kids, but it's not really like, they're not really like in love with them. They're in love with each other, but like, whatever. I don't know. Anyway, you could come be in my harem and like be in love with each other. I mean, you'd just both be my wives at that point, or my wife at that point. But I mean, Angela and Ariel, and I guess whoever else, your mom, you want me, I'm gonna join, sure. But you do like act like something really wrong has happened to me, and like as much as I can joke around this, that, or the other, when you don't speak about it, okay. I mean, I'm taking note, and it's like I would bring the sword against you. Like there's a reason there's a sharp double edged sword to cut. As I pointed out, it even says to cut to pieces faithless Christians. Blah blah blah. Anyway, so I'm pretty sure this is just another one of those fake relationship things that I've talked about. I don't know. It's my former roommate from whatever. And I think it does, like, I don't know. I think she's just willing to double, triple down on it. I think it's like killing, people around her, but she doesn't give a fuck. So whatever. I can't convince people to be good humans. Um,
We drumming.
my guess is there's like compromising material on Beyonce and Kamala and like a number of these people. Like that's even why she was chosen to be in this position. And so like, just a guess. Um, who did I vote for? Fuck you. That's who I voted for. And like again, here's another thing. Oh, you're in Houston? No, you're like you're in a hotel room. I thought you lived here. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, you know, like if you just come here to like use Houston as a thing to like, oh, I'm from Houston. It's like, bitch, you are never here though. So you know, go away. Like, I do not look at you as like a Houstonian. You are some lady that uses Houston as okay, sure, you're a Houstonian. You don't give a fuck about this place actually. There's plenty of people who are Houstonians that don't really actually represent Houston. You know, I'm going to suggest that it helped her sell things to be a Houstonian, but she didn't give a fuck about it. She lives in Malibu. I mean, get the fuck out of here. So, mm, funny female comedian lady. It's also kind of hot. Um, ambush stuff. Anything else? Anything since no? All right. I guess I'm not gonna look at everything right this second. We've kind of looked through quite a bit, but why don't I just see if or like since we talked about Kara, let's see what she posted. Election day stuff, whatever. Don't care. Sunsets. I do love beautiful sunsets. So I've said this and or thing with the slash, and it looks like it says Prince slash pick. I mean, I don't know. Is Prince? Because I just saw that his Prince's sister died. Like, hold on. So Beyonce posts like she's in Prince's stuff, and then all of a sudden Prince's sister is dead. So I think Beyonce is trying to abuse me. Like, look, I'm in a situation where I'm actively being abused by a bunch of people, and like you are, Beyonce is absolutely someone who is like it all reasonable things. She's one of these celebrities that should be on my side because like you know I think like I think there's a lot of good reasons that she should be on my side, but she's actively, I don't know, doing this whole thing again. Jay Z's a gay dude. They just had kids for like to be abusive shitheads. I think Jay Z and I think they're gonna get in trouble with Puff Daddy for or P Diddy for Sean Combs and Sean Carter are both gonna be going down for whatever that shit is. So like, I think Beyonce probably also like and that's I've seen that symbol. It was in the thing that what's her face posted, the spiral thing, right? Anyway, so but didn't Prince's sister? My whole point with this is like, I think they're harassing me and like, did I kill Prince's sister? Because it looks like as soon as you did something Prince related, she's dead, and it's like I didn't do that, but like I think Yahweh is pissed at this woman, and I think Yahweh is pissed at a lot of women, but like there's some that bear more responsibility than others. More responsibility, ability to respond. If she actively like did the right thing, we're done. She's got like I think there's enough weight behind Beyonce that what I'm saying, coupled with the reality around it, this shit explodes. And it just manifests. I am the guy on the throne of Yahweh. You know, I am actually Jehovah, not, I don't know, some cheap knockoff named Sean Carter. But, Matthew Ray Wilkins, he who is, was, and will be. Anyway, I'm just trying to point out that the dude's trying to snake my style. Same thing with fucking J Electronica. And I think one of the ways they're even doing it is the women. Women are giving him a like the women that are some like situated internally in me somehow are giving them a heads up. I think that was the whole point about the Alessandra Ambrosio thing. But so whatever. I mean, I can't. Already said my piece on it enough. Asso. Prince slash pick Asso. Oh, so I'm either Prince or pick Asso. I'm just tired of all this shit. Honestly. Imrata, you have anything important to share? No, nothing important. Which like yeah, okay, whatever. I'm not even gonna say that. Where's Alessandra? And then okay, so let's just go to Alessandra's thing. So my point with this is like, I check this every day. Let's see, is she making like my guess? It very likely could be that she's making more points with Buck or whatever. Just take it as very likely she's using whatever she's posting. The content that she's posting is directly aimed at me to make some kind of point to me, right? So just before we even look, like keep that in mind. Let's look. There's only two pictures. She's got a watch. She's pointing up. I don't know. I like there's different things that I could get from this. So, is the message clear? Probably if I take a screenshot and I sit and I like look around a little more. I mean, the most prominent things are she looks like she's pointing at her phone case. So, have I built a case? And there's a watch. So watch. There's a case. P. I don't know. Pat Domingo, like something about a Pat box, but I mean, is this one of the Pats that I know acting like some rapist piece of shit? The pastor Patrick Kelly from West End Church. Uh, you know, literally as I hold on, as I'm about to say the part where like the one of the most prominent things I remember is the whole thing that had the cat, like a tiger on it. I could bring up the pamphlet that I'm talking about, but that cat thing just popped up on the screen. Like, hold on, one more time. I actually want to get it well on screen. Can you see that? Oh no, you can't. Hold on. Look at the cat thing. Like right as I'm talking about, and it's almost like it was a tiger's face, and then it's the cat with a third eye. Oh, hey, that's even the thing. Okay, well that fits. There's like multiple cats with third eyes on the mix that I'm making with for Alessandra. So hey, it fits. See, everything happens for a reason. I'm not even kidding. Like literally, just most people don't get to experience it like that because that's whatever is evil is trying to take that from people. That everything's all connected, and you do act. Your actions actually matter, and there's connection between people and stuff like that. So anyway, okay. P. Remember that I posted up. I don't know. It could be people with a P that I know. Phoenix. I don't know. Did you do something shitty? Because, like, her kid's name Noah Phoenix. I mean, is it because I had to deal with Phoenix that they had Noah, or is she the reason that they had Noah? I mean, it's probably some bullshit like that. Did she? I brought up Beyonce abusing my kids. Did are they using kids that I went to high school with to abuse my kids? And like this whole shit's about to explode, and I don't know, some corrupt cops here in Houston participated. Nick Vo. I mean, like what? Because yes to everything that I just said, but is that what she's talking about? I don't know. Um, like remember the thing where it says like I said, Jezebel in the little inn, but Jezebel inn, they don't repent of their practices, and it almost looks like a little face here that's winking with its mouth open. So maybe that's blowjobs. I don't know. It's probably something sexual. But then it says where I will see that her children P die. Right. So bring this back up. P. Right. And I can clearly see that it's posted by Pat Domingo. But let's see. Um. I don't know. probably trying to make some kind of evil fucking point to me. I'm tired of it already. Um, there does seem to be an obsession with like trying to take the women, like I said, like abusing me with women that are connected to me, like in ways that make me uncomfortable. But like there does seem to be a thing with photographers about stripping women that I'm attracted to naked, and that or like that are, it's like she's my wife, man. Like, but then I mean, she's the mother of my children, like whether I want that or not. So like, if you're doing this, like whatever you're using her, you're making points to me essentially more than anybody else. So that's why I'm going to say this is dangerous for your health. Now, I think all sorts of people are participating. Is this some kind of threat to this person? It's just a reality. If you are using her to, like, anybody around her, I would suggest you either get her to speak, you speak, or you run away from her as fast as you can. Because when she dies, everybody around her, everybody is going to have trouble. Okay. Um, I don't know. There's a P and then a dot. I mean, I guess the last thing, if we're doing things that like what might make me, that. Well, you go down here and like, I've made this point before where it was like, this is on one of my thing, Jesus period, and then people like make. I feel like there's been a lot of things where I see something and it's just a word and then period, and it seems like it's aimed at me because I've made a point. Like this was even on the cover of one of my mixes, but like mentally up here, it's like a point that's being thrown at me psychically, essentially. Like, hey, there are things that I'm saying where I talked about earlier, like people are trying to communicate points that it's like, well, only something that's using you that can look into me or like have, something like that would be able to communicate these kind of points. That's why I think spirits work, but I also think that we're getting advanced enough in computers to where like I think they can decipher a little bit about what's in your head based on electrical signals. And I'm pretty sure when it gets scaled up and like you have a powerful enough network of things, they're just going to be able to like look into people's heads and like you can in the least see like I think it could already be happening. You can at least see like concepts, like vague words. Like if you had a thing that like an AI writing down keywords that it's seeing from that you're being poking through or whatever, it would be it would be like the key words and stuff. But I think that already exists and is happening. Um, Jesus. It's like I don't even think these days that you can believe anything you see on the thing. Well, we already like a few months ago we hit a point where AI video things publicly were good enough to where the more advanced ones that I know are way more advanced than that have already surpassed that, and the ones that like it's just like where like I don't think you can trust anything that you see ever on like ever again on the internet. So just FYI, not that you should anyway, but like I don't know if the kids like if Noah and Anja Ambrosio even exist. I've never seen. I don't even know if Alessandra Ambrosio actually exists. I've only seen her on screens. I've only seen a lot of these people on screens. So as much as I want, like actually, there's influencers that aren't real these days, right? So like I don't. I mean, I don't know that any of these people actually exist, but it's hard to be completely sure. So we're coming up on 3 hours. This is way longer than I thought it would be, but it's also considerable. It's like completely thorough. So, um, like I was able to express in every point that I can think of, and if I can't think of it, I'm sure there's another video that I can express it in. So, um, I'm gonna end this the way I kind of started it. Alessandra Ambrosio-Wilkins is committing adultery. Is an adulterous woman. I don't know. I'll have to watch the beginning again. Something like that. Is committing adultery. I think that's what I said. Is committing adultery. And like that. Just saying that on its own, or like that on its own, wouldn't be maybe enough to, I think, warrant like anything really. Because I think there are plenty of people who are adulterous and cheat on people and try to hurt people and like get off. Like they're what turns them on is like the control and hurt that they can bring on others, but it really doesn't represent any kind of power. It just represents you being a shitty person. And I just realized the mic wasn't all the way. Whatever. I'm sure you could hear me. I think Alessandra Ambrosio is she's just like cheating on me. She's an adulterous person. She like most people these days. Um, and like if you're into like cuckolding or something, and like every party involved is no. I just thought it said with Harris Pat, and then well, it did, but I was like, what is it trying to say? Like, didn't I just look at someone named Pat? Um, I wouldn't be surprised if like fucking the government was using Alessandra Ambrosio in this rapist fucking evil way, and they just I don't know. Look, this is very difficult to go through. But I mean, like honestly, look, I think Alessandra Ambrosio's an adulterous woman. I think she's really evil. I think she raped me. I think she's a rapist. I think um like she didn't do it for me. You know what I mean? Like I'm not um gonna fool myself. She like nothing that she's doing is for me, and it's all just designed to get progressively more evil and like cutting and sharp to me. And I'm just over it, and I'm over her family abusing me, and I'm over Anja and Noah abusing. Like, are they abusing me? I mean, they're not good to me. They're really wrong to me. They're really mean to me. Like on purpose, they're mean to me. Like they make points of like I'm pretty sure they know I'm their biological father, and they make points to like show affection to the Jamie Mazur or whatever, like uh whoever their stepdad or whatever. They just make points to like give affection to other people. They don't give me any. Like I said, I tried to follow Noah Ambrosio and on Instagram just to like I follow all these people, and like I don't send like threatening messages or whatever, but I don't really send messages. I just follow, and I create my own story because I think they can read that. But he unfollow, like he made me unfollow him. He like unfollowed me, or he didn't follow me. Like he removed me from following him. So I don't, it's just like I took that as like, okay, they don't want a relationship with me. They were just conceived to abuse me, and like that's what they're gonna do. And it's really wrong. And as much as I want to love them, it's like it's not. They aren't gonna get like they were raised by their mom. They aren't, So that's why I say, I think it says Jezebel and her children, that they die for a reason, and her children. It doesn't say and your children. So, like yeah, I don't know. I don't have anything else to add. So, um, I hope this all ends soon. And like, I just want to see Jezebel dead. And at this point, that means I just want to see Alessandra Ambrosio dead. So I hope that happens soon. And I'm gonna keep manifesting towards that and praying about it. And hopefully Yahweh brings that reality in, and we can move on to the kingdom of heaven. So anyway, have a blessed one. Later. Yeah.